Savage, Ms. McDermott, Mr. Perry, Mr. Sabatino,
Here.
Ms. Smith, Ms. Stevenson. Here. Mr. Thornton,
Present.
Mr. Wilovich,
Here.
Mr. Lombardo.
Here.
10 of 11.
Okay, thank you. We do have a ceremonial proclamation. So move. Aye.
Give me 1 second here. Today, Deputy Hiley, our Deputy Sheriff Hiley, was called to assist the Nanticoke City Police Department and Luzerne County District Attorney's Office to execute a search warrant at a house in reference to a shooting that took place. Deputy Hiley found her first firearm hidden in a dresser, stuffed under a bunch of clothes. Congratulations to both Hiley and her handler, Mike Flynn, on their first find. And I have a really cute picture of Hiley right here, the back black lab.
Good evening, Council. Congratulations to Deputy Kylie. It's cool. Very cool. My agenda item is item number 10 in the payment in lieu of taxes for the tenor health issue. Just kind of, I appreciate the fact that they're willing to give us $850,000 for 4 years. And I think that kudos to Council for taking proactive measures to be sure that we don't lose that revenue. I know that was a big concern for Councilman Thornton last time we spoke about this at the last meeting. So I think it's really important that we be proactive so we don't lose tax revenue. I know they're tax exempt. So if we can get that commitment from them, that's, I think, a step in the right direction. I would rather see it be longer than 4 years if possible, maybe a decreasing scale, much like Alerta, so that at some point we don't lose all the revenue and go cold turkey after 4 years. It might be better for the tax base and instead of have to plug that hole. The other item that I have is item number 12, which is the item for the LEOs agreement. I voiced this concern at the airport board meeting. This was anything but transparent. These meetings were all held in executive session, quote unquote. The people were not invited. This LEO program was something that came up in 2021. Mr. Haas and myself voted against it. And this is the very reason why. Because this doesn't seem like it's a very transparent process. There seems to be some money allocated in their agreement that they just drafted that doesn't allocate how much money that's going to be, other than it's going to be 25%. That agreement was not shared with the public. I don't know why it's even on this agenda. I think it should wait until next year when the new council comes in, because you're going to have new council members on the airport board. The current members that are there may not very well, one won't be there for sure. The other one may not be there. So I don't think it's prudent to even put this on the agenda at this time. The other concern that I have with the LEO agreement is that I personally don't believe we really need it at this moment. Um, Back in 21, when we had this issue, the problem was the police officer was responding and they let it go because it was going to be federally funded. Now it's going to be taxpayer funded by Lackawanna, Luzerne, and the airport. I'm glad we made an agreement of some sort to get them to share the cost with the county. I know that's been a big issue for me to get them to share. But I think we need to know what that cost is going to be before we just arbitrarily make the agreement. And I don't see a rush in getting this done. This has been going on for a year and a half. All of a sudden, it's on the voting session. Wasn't even discussed at a work session yet. So I don't know why we're rushing into this thing right away to get this agreement done, other than we want to get it done before the new council comes in, which may be the reason why we want to do it. I hope that's not the reason. I think we want to get the best possible agreement we can for Luzerne County. And Lackawanna won't vote on it until December 3rd. Thank you. Mhm.
So moved.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Kuzminski?
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch? Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Perry? Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Number 2, motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was reviewing the list, and the one thing that jumped off the page at me were, I know we typically like to think that a lot of these properties, which vast majority get sold for $500. We like to think that people want to buy them because they're adjacent to their own property, and therefore, like, nobody else would want to buy it or bid on it. But when I look at the list, I see some names that appear over and over. The buyers are buying, well, the one person appears 15 times. She's buying 15 lots. And some of the lots are right next to each other. I'm looking in Butler Township, there's 3 lots in Mink Springs Court, right together. The same person's buying all 3. That person's getting the 3 lots for $1,500 total. It's an amazing, fantastic deal. That's not the only place in Butler Township. The same woman is buying 2 lots next to each other on Buck Ridge Lane. She's getting those 2 for $1,000 total. And the list goes on and on down below. I don't want to pick on her individually, but she's also buying 4 lots on Lake Drive in Foster Township. And there's other individuals buying multiple lots that are located right next to each other. So I think that's an issue or problem that going forward, we need to address and really figure out, you know, what these lots are worth to these people. Obviously, I think when there are 2 or 3 lots adjacent to each other, they got to be worth more than 500 or 1,000 to these people. So I've got an issue a little bit with this list tonight. Therefore, I will. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thornton. Any other remarks from council members?
Can I, Mr. Chair? Those are the repositories. I'll just so you're clear that those are not the ones that go to the state committee. But they're the repositories.
Okay. All right. All right, there's a motion and a second. And you notated that Ms. Smith is right. Okay. Yep. Okay, motion and a second. Roll call.
Ms. Krasnowski, Mr. LaScavitch, Ms. McDermott,
Yes.
Mr. Perry, Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton,
No,
Mr. Wilovich.
Yes.
Mr. Hawes.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
9 yes, 2 no, it passes.
All right, thank you. Next up, number 3, motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for the Municipal Authority of Hazel Township.
Second.
Motion and a second. On the question, very quickly, I just wanted to state very quickly, this is not just for this particular modification, but for all of the ARPA modifications that we've received so far and all the ones that we will be receiving prior to the end of this year. Just making all of these applicants and awardees aware that next year on December 31st, 2026, these projects need to be completed. So I don't know if Ms. Sparrow wants to quickly speak on that. I know that that's part of your contract that you signed with the county. And I'll just tell you personally that next year, if many of these projects are completed in the first quarter or two, I personally will be looking very closely into them as to whether we need to be looking at how we can
And just
either
to
get them
clarify,
completed or figure that out.
the project must be complete, like the money has to be off the county books by 12/31. So your projects have to be completed way before the end of December. The sooner the better.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead, Mr.
and
Thornton.
I'd like to follow up on that. Ms. Barrett, we've had a lot of conversations about this over the last 3 years. I don't believe a lot of these entities fully understand this. Like we have one on there tonight for November 30th, 2026.
There are a couple that
Now-
have been extended to
now-
November
Now,
30th.
here's going to be the problem. The work may be done, but the billing for their audits, their engineering services, their architectural services, that's going to happen in 2027.
If the audit is not part of their ARPA budget, I mean, that's on the municipality. I think the single audit budget kicks in, I want to say if it's over 500,000, Mary, is
But
that
how about
correct?
payment of engineering services where the engineering was part of the project?
That all has to be paid and
See.
off the county books by the end of December.
See that, having coming from a municipal background, and we did major sewer work in my town, that's not going to happen in 30 days. So I don't think they fully get that and understand that.
I mean, we can certainly have another, maybe a conference call with
Well,
Booth or a
it's not on
Teams
us.
meeting.
It's
No,
not, it's not on you.
but I mean, I don't want to see anybody, not follow the
What,
rules.
let me ask a very pointed question. What happens to an entity that inadvertently violates that rule and doesn't get everything done by December 31st of next year?
After our call on Tuesday,
Yeah.
this is an email that Booth
Yeah.
put out with all of the requirements in the contract.
Sure.
So, I would.
We're
think-
covered. But what happens to an entity that doesn't get it done by December 31st of next year?
Then they're
I
gonna
think,
have to repay the funds.
now, if they took $1 million for a sewer project and they already did the project and they spent the money, they have to return the $1 million to the government, don't they?
Well, to us, because
Well, we're
the county
responsible.
is the recipient,
Right.
right?
Or we got to return it.
Correct. But
That's
they're
what
on
I'm
the hook.
concerned about.
Yeah.
There
And
should be no November 30th, that in my
no,
opinion.
but those have been approved so far.
I know, but it's up to us. to-
On a
Just-
good note, I think we have almost 100 projects that are closed out, so let's
That's a good note.
focus on that.
thank you, Mr. Thornton, and thank you, Ms. Birch. And just to reiterate that the issue is we just want to make sure these projects are completed by the deadlines, because if they're not, then, everybody involved will have some culpability in that. And I'll just, quite frankly, when we were originally going through this list and approving these projects back in 2023, I was under the impression that the federal government may extend these deadlines, but doubtful that'll happen now. So, please, we need to get these projects done. They're all very good projects and they deserve, the money that they receive, but please, municipalities, entities that receive this money, they need to be completed as quickly as possible.
And if you want, we can certainly talk to Booth about putting out a letter or having a call just to kind of reiterate that. That's not a problem.
That would be fantastic.
Okay.
Especially the consequences.
Okay. All right, there's a motion and a second on number 3. Roll call.
Mr. LaScavitch. Ms. McDermott.
Yes.
Mr. Perry, Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton,
Yes,
Mr. Wilovich.
Yes.
Mr. Hawes.
Yes.
Ms. Krasnowski, Mr. Lombardo,
Yes. Okay, thank you. Number 4, motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for Harvey's Lake Borough. Motion and a second, roll call.
Ms. McDermott,
Yes.
Mr. Perry, Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton,
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich.
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Ms. Krasnowski, Mr. LaScavitch, Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Number 5, motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for the Jewish Community Alliance of Northeastern Pennsylvania.
So moved.
Motion and a second, roll call.
Mr. Perry, Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton,
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich.
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Ms. Krasnowski, Mr. LaScavitch, Ms. McDermott, Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Number 6, motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for the Sanitary Sewer Authority of the Borough of Shikshini.
So moved.
Motion and a second, roll call.
Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
It deeply concerns me. This is the one for November 30th next year. I really, really hope the Borough of Shikshini could get it done much sooner than that, but absolutely, yes.
Mr. Wilovich.
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Ms. Krasnowski, Mr. LaScavitch, Ms. McDermott.
Yes.
Mr. Perry, Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Number 7, motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for Sugar Notch Borough.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wilovich, I think. And the second was Mr. Thornton. All right, motion and a second, roll call.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich.
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Ms. Krasnowski.
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch, Ms. McDermott, Mr. Perry, Mr. Sabatino.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Number 8, motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for Valley Crest Real Estate LP.
So moved.
Motion and a second, roll call.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton,
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Ms. Krasnowski, Gavin, McDermott, Mr. Perry, Sabatino.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes. Number 9, motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for West Pittston Borough.
So moved.
Motion and a second, roll call.
Mr. Thornton,
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich.
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Ms. Krasnowski, Mr. LaScavitch, Ms. McDermott, Mr. Perry, Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes. Number 10, motion to adopt the resolution approving a payment in lieu of taxes agreement with Tenor Health Foundation Incorporated.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call.
Wilovich,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Ms. Krasnowski, Mr. LaScavitch, Ms. McDermott, Mr. Perry, Sabatino,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Number 11, motion to adopt the resolution approving the financing by the Northeastern Pennsylvania and Education Authority of one or more series of its tax exempt revenue bonds for Tenor Health in aggregate principal amount not to exceed $47 million, and B or more series of its taxable revenue bonds for Tenor Health in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $25 million for the benefit or of the hereinafter defined borrower to be used to finance the hereinafter defined financing purposes, declaring that it is desirable for the health, safety, and welfare of the people of Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, and the area served by the borrower to have the financing purposes provided by and financed through the authority, and authorizing other necessary and appropriate action.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call.
Just on the question, Mr. Chair, do we know the definitive sale price of the General Hospital? I know it's a package deal with 120. I don't know if Tenor spokesperson, is that something that we can hear in public, or is that something later to be determined? I don't know if somebody can speak to that, or even Manager Program here. Do we have a ballpark figure?
Attorney Moses, did you want to
Can
speak
you
to
comment
that?
on that, Attorney Moses?
Okay.
Is there, can we have a ballpark figure by any chance? I know it's an aggregate deal, but
Attorney Moses, would you mind just going, I apologize, just if you can get to the mic, make sure it's on as well.
The people on the Zoom can't hear us unless we're speaking.
So as the solicitor for the authority, we don't require the borrower to break down with that specificity what the borrowing is for. Although I do know from doing these for 26 years, that built into that amount is not just the purchase price of the hospital, but also the debt service and the other expenses. So bond deals, bond money, tax exempt bond money can only be used for bricks and mortar and infrastructure. So all of that money will go toward the hospital and construction of the hospital. That includes things like if they need a new cath lab or MRI machines, but it has to be tangible things. So you can't take tax exempt money and use it for payroll. You can't take tax exempt money and pay bills with it. It has to be bricks and mortar or infrastructure. So all of that money is for the building. As far as what is exactly going toward construction and what is going toward the existing building, I can't tell you that. But all of that money has to go toward the bricks and mortar, ultimately.
no, thanks, Attorney Moses. And there's obviously no representative from Tenor here, Mr. Chairman, tonight.
So a representative from Tenor that would like to speak on the
They can
matter
speak on that.
online.
And it's specific, if you can divide up the price, it's $120 million aggregate deal for the 3 facilities. I don't know if we could see what we're looking at here in Wilkes-Barre General. So, oh, that answers my question then. Okay.
We do have,
Right, they
We
explained
have-
that at the last meeting, that there's 2 separate nonprofits. This bond has to do with the nonprofit that's here at Wilkes-Barre General. Not, they cannot use that money for the facilities in Scranton.
Right. Yes. All right. That's very helpful. And so we'll just expect to hear the purchase price at the time, whenever they negotiate.
okay.
All right. Thank you.
Is that,
Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
That's very
all right.
helpful.
all right, thank you, Mr. Haas. There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mr. Haas,
Yes.
Mr. Chowski, Mr. LaScavitch, Ms. McDermott,
Yes.
Mr. Perry, Sabatino,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Ms. Thornton.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Number 12, motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the Luzerne County District Attorney to execute an agreement with Lackawanna County and the Wilkes-Barre Scranton International Airport for the provisions of law enforcement officers at airport security checkpoints.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. On the question, I just wanted to correct something that has been said a couple of times here about the lack of need for this. After having sat in on a few of these meetings, after having listened to the arguments, I can just tell you, speaking from the perspective of a first responder, I know that some individuals have said that they believe that the local police in the area can certainly take care of the security at the airport. I mean, knowing the departments that surround the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Airport, they're all very good departments, but they're very small departments. And the area around the airport, the municipalities that are surrounded by the airport are large municipalities. If a police officer is at the other side of Pittston Township and something happens at the airport where they need to get there very quickly, it's not going to happen quickly. And we all know in emergencies that seconds count. So having somebody there in the amount of time that we would need them there, having somebody there, if God forbid there was any type of issue, to me, especially with the deal that we've been able to work out with Lackawanna County and the airport, I think this is a major win for the airport, for Lackawanna County, and for Luzerne County. I really do. And I don't think that this is something that we should be, playing games with. security of our airports is certainly not lost. I hope it's not lost on any of us. I mean, it was just 25 years ago when, we lost 3,000 people because of a terrorist attack that was initiated in an airport the size of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton International Airport. So for us to be having this discussion, I think is really a moot point. I think that we've gotten to the point now where we've gotten a great deal for both Luzerne and Lackawanna County. We've gotten essentially what we need out of Lackawanna and out of the airport. So I'm going to be proud to support this tonight, but I just wanted to make sure I made that statement. Go ahead, Mr.
Just
Thornton.
for further clarification, as everybody knows, some of us, including myself, was very upset last year and this year that we were paying 100% of that bill. And that was wrong. Lackawanna County should have kicked in as per the 1968 agreement we have with them, and they did not. So now we went from 100%, and now we're contributing 25%. Lackawanna County is contributing 25%, and the airport's contributing 50%. I just wanted to clarify that.
Any other comments? All right, there's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Kowski? Yes. Mr. LaScavitch?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Perry? Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
No.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Maloney?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Thank you. Number 13, introduction of ordinance amending the 2025 fiscal year budget for Luzerne County for planning and zoning. Manager Kokomo.
I will be introducing an ordinance amending the 2025 fiscal year budget for Luzerne County Planning and Zoning.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, moving on. Number 14, motion to approve adding a minimum bid policy to the real estate proposal packet for the purchase of Luzerne County owned property.
So moved.
Motion and a second
On the question,
on the question. Ms. McDermott.
I'd like to make an amendment.
Okay. Can you just state, I apologize. if I get to this page.
One point one. Second page of the. There's a minimum bid policy. County will not-
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, the county will not accept any offer below 25%. Just make it an amendment.
All right, an amendment to 10%. All right, there's a motion for the amendment. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second on the question for the amendment. Mr. Thornton.
I was just wondering why you're making that change.
Because most of the properties have a very high assessed value. And these properties have been on the books for quite a while. They're very small parcels. None of them are really worth anything. Some of them are. You can take a look at them by driving by. But to put across the board 25% minimum bid on all of them, when most of them are not worth a lot, is probably just going to let them sit there. They've been sitting on our books for many, many years. A lot of them even have the old commissioner's names on them. So with the 10% of what the assessed values are, most of the assessed values are like 20,000 plus. It would put it within 1,000 or 2,000 for a parcel.
Miss Smith and Mr. Liscavige. Sorry.
As a real estate person, why would they be assessed so high if they aren't worth anything?
Just the assessed value that's been on them, and it hasn't changed. And it's unfortunate that most of them have those high assessed values. But
So is maybe the real issue that we need to reassess the property?
why do that unless somebody's going to purchase them?
To get them purchased at a reasonable price? Because
Well, again, a lot of them are really just like little corner lots. If you own a property next to it, it's important to you, but there are not very many like parcel portion of an acre. Again, there've been a couple of them that Mr. Liscavige always likes to take a look at, but we've gotten better, and we never did have a minimum bid, so it is very important to have the minimum bid. It's just 25%. I feel is too high, especially with the parcels that we've sold. They haven't really been worth anything. And the big thing is we want to just be able to get those off of our books and onto the tax bill.
Okay,
Thank
Mr. Liscavige.
I don't understand why we hashed this out in the real estate meeting and we all agreed on this, and then you turn
I
around and do
didn't
this.
agree, remember? I said
Well, no, but we
Yeah.
said we would bring it before, and we came up with a number, and everybody agreed then. But in addition to that, you're right, I did go out and visit some of these properties. And there was one that comes to mind down in Newport Township that was marked non-buildable, whatever it was marked. The funny thing is, it's set right next to two existing brand new homes. And it was two lots. So if I had to guess, we let that go for $1,000, two lots. And we could have easily probably gotten 40 grand. Because a buildable lot has to be worth at least 20 grand.
If it
That was one
buildable-
example.
If it was buildable and if it had access to public water and sewer.
There's brand new houses right there, so I'm assuming, right? That,
But individually,
We
I
did.
don't know which one specifically, I can't without the packet in front of me. Chances are the parcel was too small to build on. individually.
no, it
Just-
wasn't. It was, each one was almost an acre.
It
So
would
no,
only have
they're the
been
ones I went to
fair-
visit. Do you
It
remember
would
that?
only have been fair
Yep.
to pull that out so I could have it in front of me to be able to look at. it.
Okay, but
But
I
I do
remember, I
remember,
remember telling you I
absolutely.
drove to them,
Yes.
right? And I drove to numerous ones. But I don't agree with you on the issue that like it's on the side of a mountain. A couple I went out to see, it wasn't on the side of a mountain. So I don't know where this comes from, that it's like non-buildable on the side of a mountain, because I looked at a few that were not.
Every lot that we go through, I make sure I check with the municipality to see what the minimum building lot is to be able to build on.
And
So
again,
we do address it every time we go through a parcel. So if there's a parcel that comes up that we feel is worth something, which we have on the front, and we put the packet on the side, that can easily be done. Most of these parcels are not worth it.
okay, so I think we agreed that we got to this point because of Randy Robertson. And he took it upon himself to mail out letters to adjacent landowners, right? And what happened there is they just lowball it for $500. Now, in any town where there's a lot that's available next to your house, you're increasing that property quite a bit by adding that lot next to yours for your, put a garage up or whatever you tend to want to do with it, right? So in most cases, it should be open to the public, we agreed, and there should be a minimum bid. We were sending out letters to adjacent homeowners. That's not a fair practice
we
to sell
are.
this land.
Right.
Listen, I-
We are
Councilmembers,
now, but we were-
councilmembers, stop- please stop
I am
interrupting
just
each other
saying
when each other are
10%.
speaking.
10%. Just let's go for the vote. Let's go to the vote.
Okay, there's Ms. Smith.
Councilman Lescavage just, we've been talking about buildable and non-buildable, right? And Councilman Lescavage just mentioned that if you add some of these parcels to your land, it increases your land value and some people might be able to build a garage on it. Would that make a parcel buildable or non-buildable?
Again, there's a minimum buildable size for each municipality to have. I can't say that just by adding that on that you'd be able, if it's not big enough to build on individually, then just by adding it to your property, you might be able to stand on your property, your home. But this is a lot of hypotheticals that I don't know unless we have a specific case, in front of us.
Might it be helpful,
Go ahead.
might it be helpful to have two minimum bids, a minimum bid for a buildable parcel and a minimum build for a non-bid, for
Make that amendment.
non-buildable parcel?
Make that amendment.
All right, Mr. Lescavage.
So a decent sized garage is 20 by 24, the footprint's 480 square feet. So if that lot's 1,000, you'd be able to meet the setbacks and build a garage there. We're not talking a house. So that will vary depending upon the size of the lot. So yes, you could build a garage probably in a lot of instances.
Mr. Sabatino.
As the original author of this, I said we could start at 25%. And if we're not getting any bids, council can review it later. I wanted Ms. McDermott, I seconded the motion to have Ms. McDermott have the ability to explain her point of view. But I still think we should start at 25% and work our way down if we need.
All right, there's a motion and a second on the amendment. Roll call.
Phyllis Scavich? Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Perry? Mr. Sabatino?
No.
Ms. Smith?
No,
Ms. Stevenson?
No.
Mr. Thornton?
No.
Mr. Willoughby?
No.
Mr. Haas?
No.
Mr. Duffy?
Okay, thank you. Motion and a second on the original motion, on the original resolution. Roll call.
Mr. McDermott,
No.
Perry, Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, number 15, motion to adopt the resolution declaring a vacancy on the Luzerne County Transportation Authority due to resignation of a member.
So moved.
Motion and a second, roll call.
Perry, Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Walter,
Yes.
Mr. Haas,
Yes.
Mr. Snowski, Mr. Gabbard, McDermott.
Yes.
Mr. Laverne.
Yes. All right, finally, we have budget amendments. For the sake of time, I'd like to group the first three budget amendments, the two intergovernment and one treasurers, as they're just budget corrections, into one motion. Is there a motion for those?
So move, Mr. Chair.
All right, motion and a second. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yep. Oh, I apologize. Okay, the first six.
To include the first six in my
Yep,
original.
first six.
motion,
I
Mr. Chairman.
apologize. Yep. All right, motion and a second on the question, Mr. Thornton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering that we're adjusting the LCTA and Hazelton Transit to align with resolution. Why was there such a big disparity? We're adding that to the budget, correct?
Yeah, I can answer that.
Yep. go ahead.
So it was originally budgeted at the same amount as 2025, but at the end, there was a resolution that was passed increasing those amounts. So obviously for 26, we would be budgeting the increased amount. So that's why that number changed for both of those.
Does that represent our match to the state funding for those two entities?
It does.
Quite the increase. Okay, thank you.
All right. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Sabatino,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stevenson.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Haas,
Yes.
Mr. Snow. Yes. Mr. McDermott.
Yes.
Mr. Perry.
Yes. Okay, next up, we have general government for the reduction of general fund portion of pension due to actuary estimate in addition to elimination of 6 positions below.
You know, Mr. Chair, could we, just point of order, could we switch that at the end pending on the other, how the votes turn out for these other positions?
So you'd like this to go on the very
Just at the
bottom?
very end, yeah, if we
Very
could.
end. Okay,
I think it's just a point of order. It's,
that would
Make it
be
cleaner.
the 7th one down, which is says general government, and then the reduction of general fund portion of pension due to actuary estimate, $325,000.
it's contingent on those elimination of those positions. So
Yes.
this rationale is just
A
make it
piece of
cleaner.
it is. Yeah, a
Okay,
portion of it is.
okay, all right. Okay. All right, county council, next one, county council increase meetings to include 4 council members, 3 meetings to CCAP. Budget proposed is at 4,000. Then it says if 4 members times 3 meetings times 500 hotel plus 285 registration equals 9,420. So the budget, the new proposal will be 5,500.
So
That's the increase. So the
The
new budget will
increase.
be 9,500. Yeah, so we're proposing to
94,20.
increase that by 5,500.
Okay,
So moved.
Second.
all right, on the question, I just can, whoever proposed this, can someone explain the need for such an increase?
Well, I increased, I asked for the original one, Mr. Chair, of 4,000, just assuming the cost. I think Mary did a great job of just talking about the cost of that. I don't know if all council members are going to attend future meetings, but there's the annual meeting in the summertime. That's the working session. We just had some members go down for the fall meeting. I didn't go to that one. And I think it's reasonable. I don't think everybody will always have to go, but as it's written there, I think that's reasonable. I don't know who came up with the full amount, but
I mean, if you're going to
You know.
continue to send 4 members to each meeting,
Mhm.
that's what it's going to cost. And that's assuming that everyone, stays within the block rate. So, I mean, the only way that's going to
Okay.
go down is if you don't send 4 members.
Mr. LaScavitch, you have a question?
Do you have any idea what the breakdown is for the room? And I know the registration's here.
I do. The registration, the hotel, we're assuming it's 500. I mean, generally, like, for the last one, I think the hotel was 400. For the block, 400 and change. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was 4 something.
Except per person.
So It's per person, right? So, as long as you make your reservations and you stay within the block, you'll be fine. If you don't, then it goes up dramatically. But, that's something that, you guys will have to figure out how you're gonna handle. But, I mean, the amount that's approved is the amount that is allocated for the blocked rooms, and then, of course, the registration fee. So no one should be going above that.
Okay, Mr. Thornton. Oh, sorry.
So you get a better rate for the block. So when we put it before council, when you approve it, it's for the agreed upon block rate of rooms that the hotel has offered up for that conference. And there's always a limited number, so you have to react pretty quickly to make sure you get one of those rooms. If you don't, there can be a substantial difference in the cost, which someone has to pay the difference. But, or stay at another hotel. They usually have an overflow hotel or something like that, but.
In years past, if you've had three registrations rather, you get one free. I think that's to encourage the full commissioner board to go. We're obviously home rule, but
Some, and I
So
know
that's been
Ramilda
helpful
spoke
too.
at some also, and like if she spoke, like they waived her registration fee. So there are some ways to save a little bit of money there. But I mean, we have to budget for, if you guys want to send 4 people, that's what we need to budget for. And if we end up saving a little bit of money because they'll waive a registration fee or something, that's great, but we can't really count on that.
and thanks to the members who went this past, like I personally appreciate you learn a lot and you represent us. So thank you for taking the time to go. I just think it's valuable, and worthwhile expense.
Okay, Mr. Thornton, then Ms. Smith.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to send members, especially new council members that'll be coming on in the future. I'm wondering, Ms. Rozell, in addition to the hotel registrations, of course, food, drinks, entertainment, do the individual members pay that out of pocket or is that reimbursed?
Generally, I mean, I've never gone to CCAP myself, but generally I believe most of the food is included. And if
Okay.
they're drinking and having whatever, they pay for that out of their own pocket. We do not pay for that.
Well, I don't believe they'd be drinking down there, but that's okay.
Is that, okay, there you go.
That's why I don't. yeah.
That's what you, well, that would be on their own. That would
Ms.
be on their own.
Krasnowski knows me very well.
If they-
They provide a lot of meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, at most of the time.
Okay, I do want to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They would.
Okay, Ms. Smith.
Just to piggyback off of what Councilman Hawes said and Vice Chair Thornton said, I do believe it behooves the entire county and the entire tax base to have council members who are educated in this, and CCAP does provide quite an education on how to be a council person and run a county government. And I do think it's important for especially new council members to be able to have that education. So I think this increase is very reasonable.
Okay,
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Perry.
very quickly, I agree with Mr. Hawes. It's a no-brainer, and it's something that's going to help the county. So a very small amount of money spent. If somebody wants to put their time in to go down there, it's going to come back twofold, threefold. So it's great.
It is, Chris. I just got to share. I've shared with it before here in public, but I was down one time and they talked about, they changed the pilot for state lands, for game lands. So we're able to add 19,000 and change to our budget because the state increased the reimbursement. If I weren't there, I wouldn't have heard it and we wouldn't have had it introduced in the budget. So we save taxpayers 19 grand doing something. There's other situations like that too with a match. Using the ARPA funds, we were able to match the LCTA one year, saved $1 million in general fund revenue. Got that out of the CCAP. It's very valuable.
Okay. All right. Motion and a second, roll call. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ms. Smith? Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Willover?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krasnowski?
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch? Ms. McDermott?
No.
Mr. Perry? Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
I'm gonna vote no. All right, thank you. Next up, we have court administration. There are 6 amendments. I'm not sure which council member introduced these.
So they're actually not 6 amendments. So it's really
Okay.
one amendment to
Okay.
reduce the salary for, that's for the Swan to replace the 3 positions that were originally budgeted. But
Okay.
along with the salary comes the employer portion of the taxes. So those are the other lines that you see, but it's really it's one item. It just has all those different lines associated with it.
Understood. Okay, and that's something that the court administration this was negotiated? Yes,
We
no?
talked about it
Yes.
when Mr.
Yes.
Henmarsh presented
Okay,
his budget.
all right.
So
The courts agreed to it.
Okay,
Yes, we did.
Presentation.
okay,
Oh,
thank you, Mr.
sorry, Paul.
Heinmarsh.
I didn't know.
Oh, no problem.
hi, Paul.
How you doing, everybody?
We're good.
Mr. Heinmarch, thank you.
All right. All right, fantastic. Well, there's no motion or second.
I have a question.
Oh,
What is
well,
Swan
hold
short
on.
for?
We need it. Okay. All right, motion and a second on the question. Go ahead.
Swan stands for, I'm sorry, I can't remember.
Mr.
Swan.
Heinmarsh, Swan.
Statewide Adoption Network.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, motion and a second. Roll call.
Ms. Stevenson? Yes. Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Lovett?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Chowski? Gavin?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Perry? Sabatino?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes,
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Next up, we have the domestic relations amendments, which I'm guessing is the same situation.
Right, they were the clerk typist twos that they spoke about when they did the domestic relations presentation.
Okay,
So move.
Second.
motion and a second. Roll call.
Yes.
Lovett?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Chowski? Ms. Gavin? McDermott?
Yes.
Perry? Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
yes,
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes. Okay, next up, we have the district justice courts. And that would be the same.
Well, that was the roving position that originally Mr. Heinmarsh had included in the budget
Okay.
for the part-time position.
Okay, and that's a council amendment? Was that not necessarily agreed to by?
That is correct.
Okay,
We respectfully request that that position remain during our budget meetings with the administration. Instead of putting in a full-time position, it was suggested that we might try a part-time position, allowing us to bring in a per diem employee to help cover some of the 16 district offices that we have in Luzerne County.
Just want to state for the record that this amendment was not brought by the administration. Administration understands that 16 different districts is really a lot of districts, and people sometimes have to take days off. So my understanding is that the courts want to have someone who can go from district justice office to another one if needed. They're very busy, just like our courts. But I just want to be put on the record that this is not an amendment that was brought by the administration.
okay. Is there a motion and a second for this? Is there
I make the motion.
is there a second? All right, fails for lack. Oh, second by Ms. Smith. Okay. Just on the question, is there a council member that proposed this amendment? How would this amendment have gotten into our budget amendments if it was? Okay, all right, okay. All right, so there's a motion and a second on the amendment.
No, it was not. No,
Okay.
it was one that we talked about in administration, because it was a roving position and other departments don't have a roving position like that. So it was
Okay.
one of the items that were identified if we needed to look at cuts originally,
Got
even
it.
before the courts spoke about the other positions being eliminated.
Okay. All right, there's a motion and a second to eliminate this position. Roll call. Up on the question, Ms. Smith. Your microphone, please.
if this was spoken about before the elimination of the other positions, is this still needed?
It's still a question. I mean, that's, Mr. Heinmarsh has expressed his need for that position. And is a roving position, so if somebody's off, he's saying that they would call that person in on a per diem basis. We don't have that in
I'll
other
state for the
departments.
record that it is needed.
Okay,
And that.
That is
the
correct.
amendment it's absolutely needed
okay,
based on the dockets for the MDJs.
thank you.
Okay. There's a motion and a second then. Roll call?
Mr. Lovett,
No.
No.
Krasnowski, Mr. LaScavitch, McDermott,
No.
Mr. Perry, Valentino,
No,
Ms. Smith,
Yes,
Stevenson. No. Thornton,
No,
Mr. Lombardo.
No. All right, thank you. Next up, we have elections. And this is for the election director salary.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
second,
All right, there's a motion and a second on the question. What was the original, what was the original increase of the salary?
12,500,
12,000. So this would be decreased to
2.5%.
2.5%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same increases as there is for all the other non-union positions at this point.
All right, on the question, Mr. LaScavitch, you had a question?
So in regards to any of these increases, what I would like to see going forward, anything over the standard 2.5%, no matter the division, should be brought to the council's attention since they're the purse strings of this county. I don't think it's fair that we have to go searching through a budget for, I think I requested this today. I think there was roughly 15 positions to have substantial increases. And I don't think it's fair that we have to go hunt these down. When people stand up here and they're division heads and they give us their budget and they fail to give us this dollar amount times 10 and 15, which amounts to $250,000 and gets into about 350 to 400,000 with the additional costs involved, I think we need to be told. I don't really think it's fair that we have to go through an Easter egg hunt for this. I find it kind of bothersome, really. And the last statement I'm going to make is, of all the people in this county that deserve more than the 2.5%, and I've been asking for this since I sat in this seat, is the sheriff's department. Those people put their life on the line every day with the courts, prison transport, and everything they do, and they're probably one of the lowest paid in this county. And I think before we start doling out 12,500 to anybody else, we should take that into consideration and increase their salary. That's it.
Mr. Thornton?
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, this position in particular, although I think the Director of Election Bureau does a good job. I had no idea when the division head presented this to us recently that the plan was to give her a 19% rate. And that was striking when I saw this come across my desk today, this afternoon. I thank Ms. Rizzo for sending it upon Mr. LaScavitch's request. So I do believe it wasn't too long ago that we gave her a 10% increase on 60,000. I think it went up to 66,000. So that 10 plus another 19, close to 30%. I don't begrudge her. I think she does a good job. I just think I agree 100%. Mr. LaScavitch, our sheriff deputies, in my opinion, are woefully underpaid. They should be paid more. And particularly with the dangerous work they're doing on a day-to-day basis. We have to pay these people enough money so they stay here, especially good employees. And I agree, we're doling out some huge raises here, and we're kind of neglecting our sheriff's department. Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Roselle, I have a question. An amendment, I'd like to propose a friendly amendment to this amendment. What is her, if that's okay? If that's, what number would take the election director salary up to $70,000?
5,500.
5,500?
Yeah. You want to be at 70,000, you said?
70,000.
5,500.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'd like to make that amendment. From somebody else with calculator.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry. Huh?
Well, it's about, I mean, I can't do that math in my head, but I mean,
Mr.
it's
Thornton has his
about
calculator out.
8.8 to 9%.
So,
I could say it's about 8 or 9%.
4,000.
We'll go up.
Take 5,500 divided by 64.5. It's gonna be
Oh,
about
that's
8. Yeah, it's about
4, 5.
64.5 now.
I just want to
about
state
8%.
before you go on that her base salary has not changed for 5 years. So whoever said that she got this other raise is mistaken.
Okay. So I'd like to take the salary up to 70,000, whatever that percentage
So
increase.
a $5,500 increase on current
Yes.
64.5
Right.
would be a 8.53%.
So between 8 and 9, that wasn't too bad in my head, right?
8.53.
Right.
Okay. All right, I make the motion for
I'll
that.
second it.
Oh, okay, well, okay, there's a second. Go ahead on the question.
I'm taking the other side of the fence. Does anybody want to take that position? You know what that, everybody knows what that position is like. That is probably the most problems that we have in elections. So no matter, does anybody want to do that? I doubt it. Does anyone do it as well as she does? No. She hasn't had a raise in 5 years. And she deserves that. We want to keep her.
She's had death threats, though.
Yeah, I mean,
We've all had death threats.
I don't know who would.
I've
want
had
that
death threats.
position, And she didn't get a raise in 5 years? Warranted.
Okay.
She had death threats that were investigated for the DA's office
Okay.
and the
All right.
state.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. I agree with you. I'm just trying to come up with a reasonable compromise on this. I think that our elections director does need to be paid a commensurate salary with the job that they are required to do. I think that Ms. Cook does a good job. I think that she deserves the salary increase regardless of what it is. I do think that we need to make sure we're retaining our staff. I agree with everything that Mr. Liscavige and Mr. Thornton said about our sheriff's department. They certainly, they more than deserve to be paid more. It's criminal that we don't pay them more. We should definitely be paying them more, along with many of our other employees here in this county. This is what the manager's proposing for us. We're trying to work on a reasonable compromise here. I understand we're doing it on the floor, but that's just what my amendment is. And I know, Ms. Smith, you have a question.
So her base salary has not changed, but she certainly had COLA raises, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Sure. And I remember from when I worked at the county, there were merit raises as well. She given any merit raises?
I guess I'm trying to do that now.
This is quite a merit raise. I mean, when I worked at the county, the merit raises were up to 3%, not 19%, and certainly not 8.5% either. I understand trying to pay our workers an appropriate amount of money, and I certainly am interested in doing that. We all should be able to live at, to receive a living wage. I guess one of my issues, and to reiterate what Councilman Liscavige and Councilman Thornton said before, I keep seeing raises for our highest individuals, our highest paid individuals. It's always the department heads, it's always the division heads, it's always the directors, and I'm not seeing raises for our lower paid employees nearly at the amount or the rate that we are giving raises to the higher ups in the county. And while yes, it would be great if we could pay everyone as much as we would like to pay them and as much as we feel that they are worth, because we have so many county workers who work so hard. I have seen it firsthand. I'm sure all of you have seen it firsthand. But one of my major issues with continuing to give out raises for directors and division heads is exactly part of the issues with the sheriff's officers. We aren't giving raises nearly at the rate or frequency that to our lower paid employees, and we need to take care of that. We really, really need to take care of that. While we're taking care of all of these higher paid individuals, it seems like we're just forgetting the lower paid workers who work just as hard and put up with just as much as the higher paid individuals.
I disagree with you 100%. We are finishing up our union negotiations. We're in negotiations with the sheriffs. And we are going to recognize the work that the sheriffs do.
And
But all
respectfully,
of
I
you,
disagree
all of
that
you
it's not
asked
Okay,
just
for
all right,
the
all right, all right,
sheriffs.
Councilman.
All of you asked for more, you demand more, and you expect more from our workforce. And then you forget the most fundamental obligation, paying them a living wage. I've heard one council member ask a developer, how can a family of four live on $54,000 a year? It was a very important question. It asks to highlight an impossible standard. Now I ask you to look in the mirror and ask yourselves the same question about your own employees. How are your staff, our staff, supposed to raise families, pay mortgages, afford health care, and maintain any quality of life on the salaries that you are debating? Everybody speaks about professionalism. We try to recruit. You demand excellence. You demand more services. You demand and expect dedication and expertise, yet you compensate our people as though they're working in a charity, not a career. This is not professionalism, it's hypocrisy. You can't ask for more services without funding the people who deliver them. You cannot demand professionalism without paying professional wages. You cannot build a competent, committed workforce while treating compensation as an afterthought. Invest in our staff and stop pretending to value them. The choice is yours, but the cost of choosing wrong will be measured in the talent that we lose and the services that suffer. I welcome any one of you to go into that election bureau a month before the election. Go in there at 7 o'clock in the morning because Emily will be there. Go in at noon because she will be there. Go in there at 6 p.m. and she will be there. Go in at midnight and she will be there. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Ms. Smith, then Mr. Volovich.
There are many people in this county who work for lower wages than that, who worked past midnight. I myself can personally attest to the fact that when I was working for the county, I made less than this, and I was up past midnight many nights preparing for trials. I was up at 5 a.m. preparing for trials. This is not something that we always get to see. This is not something that might be at the forefront of all of our minds. The people who deliver the services are the entire workforce of the county, not just a certain select few. It's the clerks at the Prothonotary office who help the public when they walk in and need to file a specific motion and aren't sure where the paperwork are. The workforce is the administrative assistant at the DA's office, not just the division head. We have a workforce here that we value very greatly. And that workforce is all of our workforce, not just a specific select few, not a specific section of it. This isn't hypocrisy. This is attempting to even out and make sure that everyone is paid. That is what I'm asking. I've sat here through years now of council meetings, watching bonuses being handed out to already very highly paid people in the county, watching raises being given to already very highly paid people in the county, people who are paid higher than people who are in private workforce. And as a person who was an employee at the county, part of what I understood was that I was a public servant, and that's part of what this job is. But we need to make sure we value our entire workforce and not just continually give raises to a small specific few.
And I'm telling you, we're negotiating with the unions and we're being very respectful. So you don't need to preach at me.
Okay, Mr. Wilovich, then Ms. Smith.
Thank you. Luzerne County, I want to be competitive. We have neighboring counties and counties across the state that are paying more than our positions. Our people are going to move. They're going to leave Luzerne County. When you have employees, we've had this problem with other union contracts where our employees that are on the union contract are making just under what their supervisors make. How do you want to attract people to promote themselves? You know, you want to promote from within. If somebody's going to take on a whole bunch of headaches and a whole bunch of hard work for an extra $2,000, who is going to want to do that? Nobody. You want to be competitive in Luzerne County, you're going to want people who want to step into these positions, who want to take a leadership role. You want good leaders. You need people who are going to have a reason to be a leader. This is asinine. I mean, people are going to leave for the state. They're going to leave for the federal government without even a second thought because, you know, I'm going to go make $20,000 doing the same job somewhere else. You know, if we want the best people in Luzerne County, we need to make sure that we're looking out for our people and taking care of them. When people aren't getting raises, you know, it's a tough world out there. Cost of living is consistently going up, inflation, everything. We need to make sure that our people can take care of themselves and their families. I know we always talk about benefits, but you know, benefits aren't everything. You know, you need to be able to live within your means, but you also need to make sure that if you want the best, we have to be willing to pay for the best.
Ms. Smith?
And Councilman Wilovich, I think that you're proving my point by saying that we want our entire workforce to be able to make a living wage. We want that for our entire workforce, not just our supervisors. But furthermore, the county manager spoke about negotiating with unions. But what about our non-represented employees? I think it was maybe 2017 that we did a wage study. County manager, do you remember that? You don't remember when you were the head solicitor and
Chief County Solicitor.
yeah, you were the chief
I was
solicitor.
not involved in the wage study,
But you don't remember it happening?
and it's dated. It's dated.
Well, no, that's
right.
my point. I mean, years ago, we did a wage study and found that our non-represented employees really needed a very large raise, and the county was able to do that. And
And we are
I
doing
think-
that. When individuals who are not in the non-represented group, if somebody leaves, we are adjusting the other salaries, increasing workload and adjusting the salaries commensurate with the amount of the individual who's leaving. Here's the reality. Ms. Cook, I asked Ms. Cook to get a raise last year. And she said to me, she'd rather see the money go to her two deputies because she needed them more than having a raise. That's a leader. That's the type of person we want here in Luzerne County. She exemplifies the type of person who's in a public position. And she handles it with intelligence and grace. I will fight for my staff to get a living wage.
then why,
From the person who is entering into our workforce to the person who is here the longest.
then it would be nice to see you advocate for the rest of your employees.
And I do, and I do.
And I would appreciate if you did not speak down to me.
I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking to you the way you speak to me.
I did not speak. to
Okay,
you.
all right, thank you. Any other comments? No, call the question.
No,
Oh,
If I could just weigh in, I mean, look, everybody, I appreciate the passion. And I hate to have one specific individual have to be the catalyst for this conversation, but this is what we do. This is the most important part of the job. We're trying to balance the books. We want to remunerate our staff appropriately, we want all this. All right. I would love to give everybody, and in 18, what was the original ask for this particular position? I would love to give everybody 19% raise. I would love that. I think, well, everybody loves Santa Claus. But I was here when this whole experiment started, and it was some very difficult years. Most people in the audience probably experienced that too. We had to cut staff, we had to raise taxes, we had to cut staff, we had to raise taxes. It was an ongoing agony. We are finally pulling out of that era, but we're still just not quite there yet. Taxes are going up all over the place, and all the taxing bodies. We have an obligation to the taxpayers to continue to grant services without overspending. We had some contracts this year I didn't support, and they weren't appropriate. They greatly increased some salaries at the expense of our rank and file. Rank and file, just like my colleague is saying, rank and file people are upset when they see these giant raises like that. It doesn't go well. And so I just want to take the emotion out of it. We really just, we need to balance all the different stakeholders here. And so when we have a tax increase, we got to keep the taxpayers in mind, because there are other district taxes, most of them are going up. So we're getting closer to the end goal, and that's to get rid of the debt. We've got 4 more years. When we get there, I think we can pay the ARC payment. We can pay the retirement like we should. We can have that fully funded. We can maybe bring some salaries up. But the time to do that not is in a very tight year where we're trying to get to a 0% tax increase. If we go with the current suggestion, there's still a 2.5% increase. That's pretty good compared to a lot of sectors out there in the economy. Okay, so again, I don't want to personalize this. I know it's unfortunate it's come to this, but this is the balancing act we have here. And again, taking all the passion out of it, we have to balance the books that's fair to all the stakeholders, employees, staff, taxpayers. Thank you.
All right, I call a question.
Clarify what we're voting on right now.
We're voting on the amendment for around, what is $5,500, 8.53%. Bring the salary up to $70,000.
Do you need a motion or a second?
I made the motion and Mr. Sabatino made the second. Okay. And
What's the percent increase? 8% increase?
8.53.
So it's 8.5 up from 2.5 is this, as the amendment as listed is, okay?
From the
Or
amendment.
just to
as
make that
listed.
clear for everybody. So
Yes,
you're voting for an additional 6% increase.
yes. All right, there's a motion in a second, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
No,
Savage? McDermott? No. Perry?
Oh,
Sabatino?
Yes.
Smith?
No.
Stevenson? Thornton?
No.
No.
Yes. All right, thank you. On the original motion for the reduction in salary.
So what is
Call
this
the question?
motion? 2.5%?
The motion is for the 2.5% merit increase. And is that, is everyone okay with their original motion, I should say? Because the amendment failed. Mr. Haas and Mr. Thornton was the first and second. Are you okay with that?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, motion and a second, roll call.
Ms. Krasinski?
wait, what are we voting on?
We're voting on the original proposed amendment, which is reducing the elections director salary to 2.5% merit increase, down from the increase that was in the budget, in the proposed budget. Okay. It would be a $10,887,000 decrease in the salary, along with several $100s in the other increases. Okay.
Krasinski? Savage? McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Perry?
No,
Sabatino?
No.
Smith?
No.
Stevenson? Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wall?
No.
Haas?
Yes.
No.
I'm sorry, I'd like to change my vote to yes. I apologize. Yes, to the 2.5. In all of the numbers.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, we have the elimination of the new division head position and all that that entails. Is there a motion?
So move, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion and a second on the question. Manager Kokomo, can you just maybe discuss this position a little bit more publicly, just to, give us a little bit more of a statement of need so that the public has some awareness of it, along with maybe some other council members that haven't had a chance to discuss this with you?
Well,
At length.
I discussed this when we introduced the budget. The division is Division of Infrastructure, Community, and Economic Development. We are on the cusp here in Luzerne County with significant development. And I've been saying privately and publicly that we have to get to the point that we're recruiting development, not sitting on our hands and waiting for development just to come to us. By having this division, we will have an individual whose job is to strictly seek development and work with the municipalities, because development in one area may not be the best development in another area. And we need someone to totally focus on it. I would love to be able to be that person to do that, but I don't have the time that is necessary to do that. This position, the person, the ideal person that would fill this position is someone who has experience in economic development, someone who has an understanding of Luzerne County and our needs. So it really is something that we need if we want to really develop Luzerne County the way that it should be, and including areas that we need to work on, like housing and infrastructure, regional infrastructure, regional transportation. That's why we need this particular division.
All right, thank you. There's a motion in a second. Roll call.
Question.
Go ahead.
Position.
Go ahead.
I agree 100% with the manager, county manager, what she just said. I just believe this late in the game, at this point, it's a big number and it's a big obligation, and it certainly does affect the budget quite a bit. And once the position's added, of course, it never goes away. It'll be every year. I'm just mindful of the new council members coming in a month and a half from now. And we kind of, if we vote to institute this position, it's kind of put on them. There's, I think, 4 of us here that are leaving in a month and a half. I just don't know if it's appropriate that we add it at this particular time. I think if anything, the budget could be reopened with the new council coming in, and maybe the matter could be reconsidered. But I agree 100%. We need a position here eventually to look at developing the economic here.
All right, motion in a second. Roll call.
Mr. LaScavitch? Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Perry?
No.
Sabatino?
No.
Smith?
I would love to see this happen for our county. I think it's a great idea. I think that it would be a wonderful, wonderful addition. I just don't think we can afford it right now. So, no. Or yes, I'm sorry.
Stevenson?
Yes.
No.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Kowski? No.
No. All right, thank you. All right, next up,
Thank you.
we have general government increased vacancy factor based on year-to-date 2025 totals, actuals.
So move.
Second.
All right, on the question, Ms. Roselle, can you explain what?
Sure, I can explain that a little bit. When I first came over here to do the budget, which the first budget would have been in 2024, we introduced the vacancy factor. I mean, it's something that's used in private sector all the time. Basically, you can't fill your positions as quickly as people are leaving, right? So even if we don't have the huge number of vacancies that we have at the county, it takes time to hire a replacement, and there's a cost associated with that. So by putting the vacancy factor in there, we're sort of normalizing the salaries in the sense that we're not budgeting the whole salary. We're having this vacancy factor put in there so that we can really look at what we feel we can do, and we're not overinflating the salary number based on what's actually going to happen with that timing difference. So when we first did the budget in 24, we put in $520,000. In 25, we increased that to $1.5 million, and in 26, I proposed increasing it to $2 million. If I look at the running rate right now, as we sit here today, how I think we're going to end up, at the end of the year, it's probably closer to $3 million. However, to increase it that significantly, I mean, our goal is not to have all these vacancies. That is certainly not our goal. So I wouldn't want to budget a number that we're budgeting a number without having the budget match what our goals are, right? We would love to fill every position in the county. We're still going to have a timing difference, but we would love to be able to fill all of our positions. So I think getting too close to that $3 million number is a mistake and not conservative enough for, something that we just started looking at in the last several years. Like I said, before I came over here, we never did it. The county never did that. So I think a $750,000 number is too high. It's too close to $3 million. I mean, in my personal opinion, this was an amendment that was introduced by Mr. Haas, and he and I had a conversation about it, and I said, I think it's too high. Would I be comfortable with increasing it a little bit? I mean, we could maybe by $250,000, but I wouldn't really be comfortable increasing it any more than that, in my opinion.
Just on the question, Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
been doing this for a long time. It's very consistent. 12 years. I know we have new management and Mr. Rizzo and Miller doing a great job, but it's still, it's a transitory place. Local government is very transitory. And so that's what's going to happen. Thanks for the consideration, everybody. But we gave some other positions. I really think we need to cut this back. We're going to really consider that.
There's a motion and
I think it's too high. I said I would be comfortable with like 250, but
another
I'm
250.
not comfortable with going.
I'll make an amendment to change it from 750 to 250.
Second.
All right, motion and a second for the amendment to 250. Roll call.
Reduce it to 50 or down?
No, reduce
Bring
it,
it down to 250.
reduce it down to, reduce it by 500,000 to another.
So the new number would be, if that's voted on and it's agreed to, then the new vacancy factor number would be 2,250,000. If that's
Yes.
agreed to.
Yes. All right, there's a motion and a second. Roll call.
No,
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Sabatino,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Stevenson. Yes.
No.
Mr. Willoughby,
Yes.
Mr. Haas,
No.
Krasnowski. Yes. Gabbard,
Yes. Okay, so there's an amended budget amendment to 250. I don't think we don't have to vote on that again, do we? Oh, we do. Okay, all right, we'll vote on the new budget amendment for 250. Well, Attorney Skeen, would we have to vote on that a second time since it's just a budget amendment? We changed the amendment to 250. Right. Okay, all right. Is everyone okay with their original motion at second? All right, roll call.
Explain.
Yes, we're voting on the amendment. We just voted on the amendment to change it to 250
Right.
instead of 750. So now we're voting on that.
The 750.
Now we're actually voting on the budget amendment.
We're voting on the 750.
No, we're voting on the 250.
A
Yeah,
yes-
we're voting.
A yes vote
Yes.
is for 250.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep, a no
Okay,
vote
yes,
is
we
to
got it.
not have a budget amendment at all at this point, I suppose.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Haas, this final amendment,
It's going to change
I
somewhat.
was going to say, would this be effective? Would we be
yeah.
able to potentially just move this to the next voting session? Would you be okay with that? Just so we have the exact number or close to it? I don't know.
I mean, I can get you close if
Yeah,
you want to
what-
vote on it now, but
I say we vote on it because we want to just move the budget forward. So
Okay.
on budget night, we can have as least amount of amendments possible. I think this is going to pass, but why don't you just, I think I would say I'll move this, but contingent upon the changes in the positions.
We can vote on it now if Ms. Roselle thinks she can get us close to the
yeah,
number.
so
Yeah.
I mean, originally the amount was $300,000. And then we said, there's $25,000 for the other salary adjustments that were being made. So I think you can safely vote on $300,000. You could probably vote on 310, but that's where you'd be if you want to vote on either one of those two numbers.
But just for the sake of everybody, sometimes I'm a little slower. So we're voting on item 530.45, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it would be the reduction of general fund portion of pension due to actuary estimate in addition to elimination of 6 positions below. And Ms. Roselle, are you suggesting instead of the 325,000 reduction that's stated, you're saying maybe go to 300,000?
300,000 would be fine.
Okay, I
That's,
just
that's what
want-
we were,
I just wanted to clarify.
That's
yes, I talked
the
about that
agreement we-
last time at the last.
The work session that I brought that up was 300.
Yes, it was 300,000. And we talked about that based on boomer signs, reduction in the contribution. But all of that is not general fund money. So that's what, like $300,000 would be general fund money. That would be fine. We were increasing that a little bit based on the other positions being eliminated, but since they're not, I would be very confident in the $300,000.
So this is, just to clarify, I apologize, is a reduction to our contribution to the pension
Correct.
fund?
So you're saving 300,000, right? Your costs would go down by $300,000.
Okay, and how significant is that going to be to the,
About 0.2%. I mean, every $130,000 gets you like 0.1, so.
Mr. Martin?
Yeah, now our actuary stated a much bigger number. He said we could
Because
safely.
that's everything. So
He
you,
said, considering the amount of employees we have, who's here now,
yes,
and our actual contribution, he suggested 600,000.
right. But that's all of the county. So you have to remember that we're only talking about the general fund budget. So included in that whole number that they talked to us about were human service agencies, which is not part of this, 911, which is not part of this, like tourism, anything that is not paid for from the general fund, we can't look at because that's not part of the budget.
Yeah, so I'd like to move then, Mr. Chair, the reduction of $310,000 because of these other changes. And then, of course, we're
Original-
still 100,000 over. We're still 100,000 over what the actuary wanted anyway, so.
All right, first we
Just
need
nipples
a
and tucks.
first and a second on the 325. Is there a motion on that?
Oh, moved.
All right, motion and a second. Now, Mr. Haas, you're making an
So
amendment.
amend my own, can I do
Yes,
that, amend my own
yes,
motion? So
yes.
I'll switch that to 310.
310.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make an amendment to make it 300,000.
Second. Is motion.
All right, there's a motion on there's a second on the 310 by Mr. Sabatino. Yes? All right, let's vote on that first and then we'll vote on. Yeah, there's a second by
Yeah.
Mr. Sabatino from Mr. Haas.
This is on 310.
This is on 310. So, all right, motion and a second. Roll call on 310. We're changing it from 325 to 310. Roll call.
Mr. Sabatino.
Yes.
What was the number the actuary wanted?
They didn't want a number. It's an estimate. It's really just an estimate. And again, it's the entire county, so you can't look at that number. You have to parse out what would be general fund money. So again, when Mr. Wilowich, asked for the $300,000 number, that makes sense. It could be a little bit higher because you've eliminated, some of the positions for the courts, but
So the question is yes or no to the 310.
Yes or no to the 310. If you vote no on the 310, you're either advocating to keep the 325 or to lower it to 300
Right,
based on what Mr. Wilovich's potential proposed amendment is going to be.
yes,
Okay, so
yes.
what are you making? You're saying yes then to the, okay, all right, got it. All right.
Stevenson?
Yes.
No.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Gavin? McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Perry?
Yeah.
No. Okay, it passed at 310.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to propose an amendment to bring it down to 300,000.
All right, I'll second that. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Smith?
Yes,
Stevenson? Mr. Thornton?
No.
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
No.
Mr. Schnowski? Yes. Mr. Miscavige? McDermott?
No.
Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Sabatino?
No.
Mr. Lombardo? Yeah. 7 yes, 4 no. Passes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for
Mr.
your
Chair, we
patience,
have to vote
everyone.
on the original amendment.
All right. Yes, we do. That is correct. All right, we will now vote on the original amendment, budget amendment as amended for 300,000. There's a motion in the second. Roll call.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Schnowski? Yes. Mr. Miscavige?
Yes.
McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. We'll now have public comment on non-agenda items. I do have an email that I'd like to read very quickly. This is from, I believe it's from Miss Velez. Yeah, from Marianne Velez from Duryea. Okay, it says, "Dear members of Luzerne County Council, I'm writing to express my sincere hope that the county council will continue providing full video access to all public meetings rather than reverting to audio-only recordings as recently suggested. For more than a decade, residents have been benefited from the ability to see their government in action through both live streams and archive videos. This visual transparency has allowed citizens to observe not just the spoken words, but expressions, gestures, genuine exchanges that define open and accountable governance. Replacing video with audio-only recordings, unfortunately, would be a step backwards. Few members of the public will take time to seek out and listen to lengthy audio files. The accessibility and clarity that videos provide are irreplaceable and maintain public trust. In a time when faith in government is built upon openness, I urge council to honor the precedent set over the past 12 years, continuing to share meetings through live and recorded video. Transparency is not just a courtesy, it's the cornerstone of a healthy democracy. Thank you for your continued service and for keeping the light of transparency shining bright in Luzerne County." Thank you, Ms. Velez. All right, we have a couple of slips up here. Mr. Griffith, do you have it? Is he still here? Mr. Griffith? He's coming? All right. Sorry, I didn't have these all in order.
Yep, I've said, yeah, worked on that. Okay, thank you. Just on non-agenda items, the only concern that I have is on the availability of the council room for the people, for the public. And I know I addressed this once before. We had probably about 7 or 8 people in the rotunda when we have employees sitting here. I think these meetings are public meetings. And although I appreciate the need to have the employees here, I think they could sit in the rotunda, and when we need their expertise, they could come in here. And that way the public could get the opportunity. The other thing, to Ms. Velez's point on her letter, is a lot of council members are not using their microphones, and I know it's difficult because it's fast moving, and I'm not trying to be critical, I'm just trying to point out an observation. When I'm sitting out in the rotunda, we can't hear the vote because some people don't turn on their microphones to say yes to their vote or no to their vote. The problem with that is if we go back to listen to the audio recording of this meeting, we're not going to know what your vote was. The only record we have is Sharon's record right now, the clerk's record of the vote. We don't have any way to substantiate if Patty Krishnowski voted no or yes, because her microphone's never turned on. So when the vote is 7-4 and we want to see who voted no, we may not know who that is. And we'll have to take the clerk's word for it. So it's really, really important that we try to turn the microphones on. Some of the council members are really good at that. Others are kind of not. So just keep that in mind. It's really important for the public when they're listening to these, as well as the Zoom, because on the Zoom, they can't hear it either. So it's really for transparency, to Ms. Velez's point. That's really, really important for the public to have that information. On the LEO thing, I do appreciate the chairman's point of view about security at the airport and law enforcement officers. My issue is with the agreement where it doesn't identify the hourly rate. And I think that's kind of vague. And I don't know how you would budget for 25% of not knowing what that is. What is the law enforcement officer's hourly rate that they're going to be paid? We don't know that. That's not in the agreement. And that's the concern. In the original agreement, it was spelled out. It said $23 an hour in the original agreement. In this agreement, it just says we pay 25% of the cost. Well, I'm appreciative of the fact that we dropped it to 25%, because that's obviously been the issue for me, is that we're paying 100%. But I really would like to know what 25% of what is. Is it $60 an hour? Is it 5 LEO officers at $25 an hour? And then you just hand us a bill and we pay 25%. It would be really nice in the agreement if we would identify that and make that information pretty clear, so everybody from both counties know exactly what their obligation is, and you could budget accordingly. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Griffith. Next up, we have Dan Eustace. Oh, you want to wait for work session? Okay. All right. Next up, Eugene Francis Wallace. Mr. Wallace, can you just tell us what town you're from?
I'm South Wilkes-Barre.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
South Wilkes-Barre. Okay, good evening, Mr. Chair or Madam Chair, councilors, and welcome guests. I'm Eugene Francis Wallace, and I do live in South Wilkes-Barre, and I don't really get into the county stuff much, but I think I'm aware of one thing pertaining to the Keystone mission. I understand the county gave them you and the county gave them quite a bit of money. I think we all know that they went belly up. And so I'm just wondering how you were, if you want to tell me what your plan is, or I know it's not on the agenda, but if you have a plan, I could listen now or go back to the room. That's kind of one thing. And the previous gentleman said something about not turning on your lights or your phones or when you're going. I know when I was a public school teacher in the Middle West, I did go to some meetings there, and the secretary of the board said so-and-so's name, and they said yes, and that. So maybe that might be a good way to do it instead of just going through that here. Okay. And I guess third is I'm taking a course through CareerLink, and the instructor is Kathleen, and she's a contractor for LC Cube, and she's a good lady and doing a good job. So maybe you could give her a raise if there's any money in the budget. So that's all I have, and thank you for your time, and have a happy Turkey Day. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace.
Mr. Wallace?
Manager Kokomo just wants to respond.
We're in litigation with Keystone Mission to have the money returned to the county.
Oh, you're litigating. So your attorneys versus theirs. or
Right down
whatever.
there.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have Chris Sommerfeld. I think Sommerfeld. Nobody? Nobody? All right. Next up, we have Mr. Mashevsky.
Greetings, council, and to the audience and the community at large. I'd like to first start off by apologizing. At the previous meeting I attended, I spoke beyond my time in contrast to Chairman Lombardo's request for me to conclude. I apologize to you for disobeying you. That was wrong of me. Furthermore, I would like to clarify another thing regarding another member who spoke previously. When you had begun the meeting, the IT had not been able to set up the program for the people in the audience. So for about 5 minutes, the meeting was operating and nobody in the audience, nobody on Zoom was able to hear anything because the access hadn't been properly finalized. So I'd ask that you all please, before the beginning of the events, assure that all of the IT personnel have been able to finish their jobs and properly have everything greenlit to go. I'd like to continue and say that it appears that there's a big discrepancy and everybody seems to be fighting over money with raises, with wages, with how we're representing the needs of the people. Equal equity through posterity is supposed to be covered and protected by the federal government. We know the real problems: inflation, cost of living. We're fighting about who's supposed to get paid first because the federal government is failing to protect our equal equity through posterity. So instead of arguing among one another, we need to unite along with the other counties, along with the other states, to tell the federal government and to make them do their job. Furthermore, later on today, we're going to be speaking about the correctional department. Director Warden Wilbur is a wonderful man. I wrote to him. He met me while I was in protective custody. We spoke briefly. His hands are tied in a lot of ways in making sure people get the help they need because there are so many people who have power and control over the operations of his facility. He's not the only one. He's the division head. And if we're focusing so much on money and not on the purpose of our work, but instead to cost save, to prevent additional expenses, then the people he's trying to help can't get the help they need. Finally, I have a police report from Edwardsville police officer Brandon Bradshaw. Multiple of my neighbors said they thought I was dead. My front door was open 3 weeks after I was originally detained. My dog has still not been returned to me. Director Wilbur, he's so busy because he's managing an institution whose laws, when it was created, were not properly revisited. That building was built for one person per cell, and he's now working with double, triple capacity. So please think about that, and I'll continue this after. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mashevsky. All right, next up, we have Mr. Zola. Mr. Zola, I see you have work session. Is that okay? Do you want to speak now or then? Does it matter?
Whatever is better for you guys. I mean, this has been pretty like.
It's up to you. If you want to speak now, you can speak now. Yeah,
Okay.
might as well.
Thank you. John Zola, Sugarloaf. I just would like some clarification on the easement, PPL easement with the county. I kind of reviewed everything. It's a little difficult to determine exactly what's happening. So what kind of easement are they looking for? How wide of an easement are they looking for? And what's it for? All right.
They will be here during the work session to discuss it.
So I should wait till then. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
All right, yep.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Mr. Zola. Okay, I have nobody else for non-agenda items. Just double check. Anybody on the Zoom? Anybody else in the audience?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 7:46. We'll restart at 7:55. Thank you. What happened to this microphone? All right, council members, it's 7:54. Please take your seats so we can restart with the work session. All right, council members, it's 7:57 PM. Time doesn't exist in Luzerne County Council. Okay. Sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it goes really slow. All right. I'd like to call the work session to order. We've already had the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Roll call, please, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Ms. Krishnowski?
Here.
Mr. LaScavitch? Ms. McDermott?
Here.
Mr. Perry?
Here.
Mr. Sabatino?
Present.
Ms. Smith?
Present.
Ms. Stevenson?
Here.
Mr. Thornton? Mr. Wilovich?
Here.
Mr. Lombardo?
Here. All right, thank you. Yeah, Mr. Thornton's done. I'm pretty sure it's done. Okay. All right. Is there any additions or deletions from the work session agenda? Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Agenda is adopted. First, budget reports for October 2025.
Good evening. Your budget reports for October have been included in your packet. The first report is your revenue report. Our revenue earned is at 92% of budget, or 154,209,000. The current year tax collections at the end of September, at the end of October, are at 120.8 million, which represents 99% of the current year tax revenue budget. As I said before, I believe we will exceed that budget before the end of the year, which is a good thing. Expenses are at 112,962,000, or 68% of budget. Next, you have your listing of the budget transfers, followed by the accounts payable detail. Your last report is a treasurer's report showing a cash balance of 153,504,770 at the end of October. The cash balance at the end of September was 162,947,578. Our interest earned for the month of October is 393,424.58. Of that, ARPA accounts for 132,400.43. Our year-to-date interest that's earned on all of our accounts is 3,446,954. Our ARPA cash balance at the end of October is at 33,129,821. Our ARPA interest earned year-to-date is 1.6 million, and the ARPA interest earned since inception is 9.5 million. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Roselle?
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next up, discussion regarding resolution granting a right-of-way to the PPL electric utilities over Luzerne County-owned real property in Dorrance Township. Is there a representative here from PPL? All right, you want to go up to the microphone and just state what the project is specifically that you're looking for the right-of-way? Oh, can you just make sure can you turn the mic on? There's a button. Yep.
Does that sound good? Oh, awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you, council members, for your time. We are here. The project that we are requesting right away from the Luzerne County for is really just for the permission of, we are engaged in, this is sorry, let me rephrase. This is a small work order as part of a large capital project that PPL Electric Utilities is currently engaged in across the state. We refer to it as storm hardening and reliability, which is really just updating much of the grid that is outdated. And then this is, I should distinguish, this will be for distribution, which is substation to end user, whereas transmission is substation to substation. So, you know, your typical poles, anchors, overhead wires, so on and so forth. That's what we in my department deal with. So what is happening in Dorrance Township is PPL has identified that this is a stretch that is either in need of upgrading and or prone to power outages. And so we are replacing and reconductoring about 10,800 feet of current single phase and or three-phase conductor. We are upgrading certain areas of the single phase to three-phase. So it's three-phase extension. And as part of this initiative, we're just asking for some extended tree rights and for the permission for the installation of new overhead facilities, which is just basically electrical wire and a single anchor guy, which would be, 3/4 to an inch thick wire from the pole to the ground to support the pole stability.
All right. Any questions for council members? Oh, go ahead, Attorney Skeen.
So when you say tree, do you mean trimming back trees from the pole?
Yes, it'd be tree trimming and or tree cutting. So currently where we have three-phase right now, our standard rights is 25 feet from center line, and single phase will be 15 feet from center line, so 15 feet in either direction, which having the rights to cut and or trim on any and all trees. As part of this storm hardening initiative, we are trying to get enhanced rights to make basically make the grid easier to maintain. So we're looking for 40 feet in this instance for the three-phase.
Okay, because it's a higher phase.
Yes,
You're
sir.
looking to extend an easement that you already have.
Yes,
to
sir.
be a little bit wider so that the trees could be removed or cut back so that they don't interfere during a storm with knocking down the wire.
Said it better than me. Yeah. Yes, sir.
And is that also, are you changing the poles or just the wire on the poles?
Yes, we are replacing the poles as well with it, which is already within PPL's existing rights. And we are adding some other new poles along Blue Ridge Trail, but none of them will be on the property of Luzerne County.
Okay, thank you.
And this, obviously, just for edification of the public and council, this only applies to our property that we own along these lines.
Correct.
We're only granting an easement for our county-owned property.
Correct.
All the other properties will be, that's at the behest of the landowner, correct?
Correct. Yep. We are basically there right now. There's about 52 landowners I believe we're in contact with, you being one of them. And we are, doing our best to just obtain private rights because PPL, is unable to do any sort of work, install any facilities on private property without the landowner's written permission in the form of a standard right-of-way grant, which is what we have presented to the council.
Okay.
Question.
Oh,
Okay.
Attorney Skeen or Manager Crockwell, who do you, Attorney
ahead.
Skeen? Go ahead, Attorney Skeen.
For how long of a run will that be on Luzerne County property?
As far as the space
Distance?
unfortunately, I did not obtain that information as far as the length of the parcel itself, but it'll run for the full length of the parcel along the Blue Ridge Trail.
Right. So are we talking miles or it's a smaller piece?
Oh, no, these are very, very small parcels. It looks like these parcels had been previously divided, I believe, for the purpose of establishing a community along that stretch of Blue Ridge Trail. But when we did our research to figure out who owns the properties, there was no deed, or there's no deed book and page. There's no deed. We checked out the recorder's office, and they put us in touch with paralegal Tess Riley, who said that this would need to come before the council.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Manager Crockwell.
Does this easement have any relationship to do with the power line running through Sugarloaf?
No, ma'am. Okay. Any other questions, council members? Mr. Haas?
Sure. Hey, welcome to Wilkes-Barre. Thanks for coming. I'm trying to find on Google Earth exactly where in Dorrance Township this line is. You don't have any coordinates for it by any chance?
Coordinates? No, I do have
see
the
PIN numbers, but
the
that's,
parcel numbers.
yeah,
if I
doesn't
may
help me in
ask.
real time. Okay,
All right, members of the public, please.
so you know exactly, I mean, where in the township, can you ballpark it at all?
Ballpark best say it is. Yep, so Blue Ridge Trail towards Slocum, on the border of Slocum Township and Dorrance Township.
Okay,
Like I said, it's only 10,800 feet, this whole project. And these parcels don't have, an exact address, as they are just blank, plots of woods essentially.
Mhm.
But we can definitely, I understand, I don't have my phone out, otherwise I could find
Yeah, I
a
understand.
nearby address for you to reference, but.
sure. So I'm looking at, it looks like according to your documents here, we only have 3 parcels in the zone?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct? And so you said there's an increase in the diameter of the wire. So the handling capacity is obviously going to be expanded. We can expect more electrons flying through that.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
So single phase is usually just a single conductor at the top of, the pole, and for 3-phase is 3. So it's increased capacity. We typically will, you'll see these in town. You'll see these, they service manufacturing, solar farms, the whole nine. I say, so it is PPL as part of these upgrades is upgrading many areas to 3-phase from single phase, just in efforts to meet future needs.
When was the last time we had an upgrade to this line? You know, offhand?
I do not know, unfortunately. I apologize.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I'm not trying to play gotcha, but I'm just trying to understand where this is going, because I mean, Manager at Krogman asked a good question. This is having to do with the increased, obviously you want to build capacity. And, the news, we've had some controversy here in recent months. So we're just a little gun shy, and any other information you could supply that's forthcoming, that would be helpful to me personally. I think the council at large here. We're looking at other parcels here, and it looks like this runs through mostly wooded areas, but I can't quite tell.
Yep, you are correct. You're correct.
So it's, I like that. I like that. It's not going to be near people's homes and risk other, radiation type thing coming through. It's not the right word for it, but
Nope,
health
yeah.
hazards, extra capacity. So we're just looking at cutting down trees. Are we looking at higher wires? I see an anchor guy. That's why I never knew what that was called.
Mhm.
So that's going to be higher up than
Yes,
than the height that is currently there.
For certain poles, yes, certain poles will be upsized where there is single phase currently. There's
Okay.
already 3-phase running from north to south along Blue Ridge Trail. And basically we're just replacing that and replacing it with wire, what we call XLP, which is just coated wire, in order to, if a branch touches it, it won't short, it won't knock anyone's power out. And these, I know like the terms can kind of get confusing, but 3-phase is everywhere. If after today, I assure you'll probably leave here and start seeing 3 conductors on top of poles all over the place. So this is not to do with transmission, which transmission is the major
major power lines running substation over mountains. So this is a very typical upgrade, I guess, so to say. So I totally understand being gun shy, but this should not negatively impact anybody. If anything, it should increase the value, since all parcels will now have access to more electricity should they need it.
Okay, that's interesting. So, okay, we're looking at, I thought these were just transmission lines. These aren't.
These are distribution lines. sir.
Distribution lines.
Yes,
So
sir.
we're expecting development here along this corridor.
Possibly,
distribution
even
lines.
if it's not, even so distribution already is there. So we're just replacing and upgrading it and to make it more reliable.
Do you know what these areas are zoned offhand? And that's, our department might be able to answer that, but if you look along these corridors here, is it commercial? Is it, I'm assuming it's residential?
Yes,
If it's
sir.
out in the wilderness, but I don't know. It's 100% residential?
I believe so. Yeah, the closest business, there is a business called KPI Land Management, which is a propane business, and then a convenience store and gas station. Those are the closest businesses.
Okay.
But yeah, but three-phase has to come from a three-phase line. So whenever PPL is able, they usually extend it in order to, if a customer ever does, if let's say someone buys a lot of property there,
Yeah.
they want to build a farm or a manufacturing plant, they would need that increased electrical capacity, and it'd be closer to them basically. So like I said, it's already there. We're just extending it a little bit.
Could you submit stuff through the chair? Could we see any history of upgrades? Could we request that? Could I also see maybe a more global map of the whole line than just these? And thirdly, I know I'm sorry, I don't want to go too fast there.
No, you're okay.
And we could supply that, but I'm sure people know sitting on the information about what these areas are zoned. So three asks. One, could we have a more global map? Number two, could we see the history of the past upgrades? Number three, what the current zoning is? Number four, I know you're the technical side, but could you ask people if they've been approached by developers
Yes.
personally with interest in this? Because we're gun shy.
Yeah, I totally
Thank you,
understand.
sir.
I can answer probably the last one with certainty, because the way our work orders work and these projects, if it is to benefit someone or some entity specifically,
Yes.
they do supply us with that information. That would be what we consider a customer request, and we do get those for three-phase extensions quite often. Particularly with solar farms, with industrial manufacturing, so on and so forth. But this is just what we would refer to as storm hardening. As you can see, that it is a very wooded area. And a lot of places the lines run through trees. So honestly, we should be clearing these already within the existing rights. But this is just one small area that PPL has, engineering has targeted as far as needing to be upgraded.
It's
But
windy
yes.
up there in Dorrance Township. It's
What's
windy.
that?
It's windy up there.
Yes, sir.
Right? So, and the last thing, I like the lights coming on, and I like the fact that there's no encumbrances on the power line. So I don't want you to expect this is some kind of animosity or anything like that. But again, just given what we've seen in the past couple months, really appreciate the information. So thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, any other Manager Kokomo and then Mr. Sabatino. Go ahead.
Thank you for coming and thank you for answering the questions. I just have a few more because this is a very important topic to that area of Luzerne County. What's the KV now at that site?
I do not know that off the top of my head, unfortunately.
Okay, can you get,
But I can get that information.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
and what will it be?
I can also get that information
Okay.
for you.
And will the extended easement open the lines up to any houses or private property? Any,
No more than is already possible, I guess is the best way to put it.
okay, you
Yes,
sound like a lawyer now.
I'm a little gun shy about saying the wrong thing.
Yeah,
so.
I understand.
Yeah.
No one's gonna crucify you, but there are houses and property that will be, there are houses and properties that are in that easement zone. If you
With-
extend it,
Within, no, I guess not within that 40 feet, no. That say we don't, extend easements. Like these easements are not for the strip of land. That is kind of a common misconception we come across. We do have easements for other types of projects that with different language that would be for a set strip of land, and we'd map that out. This is simply just for the right to install and maintain the facilities themselves and the right to cut down and trim any trees that may be within PPL's right of way, and that would be endangering the line.
But once it's extended, when the easement is extended, will it open up lines to homes and private property?
Would you mind clarifying that?
Well, once you extend the easement,
Mhm.
ours is a certain area that our easement, right, that we have on county property.
Mhm.
Once you extend it, will it open up lines to homes and private property
As open.
beyond our easement?
All right, members of the public, please.
No more than normal. Again, I wish I could I wish I had brought a visual representation with me. But these are very run of the mill distribution lines. They're just increased from single phase. You find them more in urban areas. I can assure you they are all over Wilkes-Barre. But as far as this won't really change how the lines interact with property owners, in the sense that all that will change is just the facilities themselves being upgraded and then more trees being cut down. But outside of that, PPL has no rights to do anything else.
All right. Go ahead.
Can you get us a visual of that you're talking about?
Sure.
Okay. And will this affect county land for future development? we choose to-
Dare I say only positively, because there will be increased electrical resources for you to use.
Okay, and just one more, I have one more. How wide is the existing easement before the 40 extension?
Currently, in the areas where three phase is existing, our current easement for tree cutting and tree trimming, that's all that dimension is for, and which you can see, which is called on the grant. It is 50 feet, and where there's single phase, it is 30. So we are increasing it to 80. If that does make the council uncomfortable, I can get permission to drop that back down to standard. But 40 is just the enhanced rights that we are trying our best to obtain, just to, again, for ease of future maintenance.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sabatino.
Mr. Skeen, is there any way we could just sell these properties to PPL?
I suppose we can.
Well, we have to go through our
Real estate
process.
committee and
Yeah, we have to go through the process of real estate.
that was not
Committee.
asked of us. What was asked of us was to extend it for tree trimming to make the lines safer and more reliable in storm conditions. But if you want, we can look into that.
Okay, Ms. Smith.
No more than normal. They're just the standard wooden poles. These poles are only good for a certain amount of time, and a lot of the grid in the U.S. is very outdated, 100+ years old. These, I can't tell you the exact longevity rating of thank you, 6 years for very, very well educated. I appreciate that. I can't nail that down. I don't want to speak out of turn. But yeah, these are just the normal wooden poles that supply power, again, from substation to end user, to your house, to your business, so on and so forth.
Ms. Smith, your microphone, please.
Sorry. So when you said before that they were all over Wilkes-Barre, you're just talking about the regular wooden poles that we're seeing.
Yes, ma'am. Yep, those poles that are right out here on the street. I can speak, and it's a little bit dark out, so I didn't check before I came in, but I can tell you with relative assurance, given the size of this building, that this building is fed by probably by three-phase electric lines. They usually run through most towns. They run along, rural roads to farms. So yeah, it's a very typical thing. It just most people do not notice them because we kind of see them every day. I like to joke that every time when I started this job, I just started seeing utility poles everywhere. And I say my coworker there can attest. I told him that day one. And so yes, so yeah, these will be seen by property owners, but again, no more than these poles currently are, because especially on the properties that we are that the county currently owns, the poles that are there are just being replaced. They're not, if there was if it was a major enough upgrade, we would need even more rights for new poles, or if it was transmission, then that would require a much more aggressive easement in this case. But in this case, we're just asking for permission to upgrade the facilities and to have the extended tree rights.
And one more question. You mentioned three-phase. We know this is a residential area, but three-phase is generally used for commercial and industrial uses, is it not?
It can be used for both.
Is it usually used for commercial?
Typically, yeah, most commercial uses for electric would not be, what's the word? I guess there's not enough electrical flow through single phase to service the majority of commercial buildings uses, but three phase can be used for all sorts of things. Yes.
So given that this is such a residential area, can you tell us why you're choosing to use three-phase?
Oh, like I said before, it's already there. And given that we receive a lot of requests for upgrades, generally, since PPL is already engaged in this, like I said, this capital project, it makes more sense that rather than upgrade, just replace all the single phase line to replace and extend the lines, just extend the three phase, because the types of poles don't really change all that much, except for a couple feet taller, maybe a few inches wider. But I mean, again, I apologize. This is a little bit out of my purview. My job is a right-of-way agent, so I just to obtain that permission. But yes, I hope that answered your question. I apologize.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other questions, from council members?
I guess just one last question, Mr. Chair. So they're going to be higher. Will they be above the existing tree line, the improvements?
No, sir.
Okay.
Except unless they're really small trees.
Yeah.
But yeah, but generally if they're there, no, sir.
It's a wooded area. You really wouldn't see it at all because it's below the canopy.
Exactly. You'll see a little bit better than you would now because of how close the trees are encroaching on the line. But once once we make the necessary, do the necessary tree work, then it's a bit more visible from the road, but no monstrosity by any means.
And again, so forgive me. So you're gonna mitigate some trees. You're gonna do any spraying, any pesticides, or anything like that? Any herbicide? I guess herbicides probably what you would use to curtail any growth.
I can't confirm that for certain. That would be a question more for our vegetation management. I mean, I can ask them. We also, for people who are sensitive to herbicide, you can get on the Pennsylvania, I think it is Pennsylvania Herbicide Sensitivity Registry. And we do have customers who will say, I would like nothing to be sprayed on my property. And we add them to like a sensitive layer to make sure that, people doesn't do any spraying near their property.
All right. Very helpful. Thank you.
Sorry. Any other questions for council members? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much for your time. I appreciate you, council
You did a
members.
great job.
All right. Next up, discussion regarding resolution authorizing the county manager to execute a contract with Info Quick Solutions Incorporated for Pathonetary's office records management software.
Not sure if Paula Raddick is here.
Ms. Raddick?
This is the contract for the Pathonetary's office for us to have our system of civil filing. It's up this year, so we have to renegotiate the contract. We've also made a lot of upgrades in the last little over a year to try to streamline the process and to make it more efficient. we're working on, I think, a multi-year contract at this point. That's correct, Mr. Steen. And the yearly fee would be $58,200. There would be there's some projects I think we want to do in the future, so that would be additional addendums to contracts in the future when those projects are decided.
Any questions by council members? Mr. Haas?
Hey, Ms. Raddick, is this in addition to an existing contract or is this brand new?
No, we've been using the same company for, not really sure, probably, I would say about 10 years.
Okay.
It was before me, yeah.
So, so I'm looking at the more finer details. So we have is this an increase over the last contract which was?
It is an increase
I'm
over the
looking at
last contract.
Well, this one says here that it's an original contract here in item number 5. So I'm looking on one page of your document pack. It says contract attributes number 5. I checked off it's an original. So there isn't a previous contract? Right here, everybody. It's this back here.
That's the cover sheet.
Yeah.
So
on
it's,
the
this
cover sheet
is
there.
original. It's not an extension of a previous contract.
Right, so it's an
we're
original
starting
contract.
over. Either we don't enter a contract with IQS,
Yeah.
we have to have a whole new system installed, but this is a new contract as
Okay.
opposed to an extension of the previous contract.
So it's a new contract, but it's using the same system just with upgrades, basically. Is that what we're looking at, Nona?
Yeah, we have the same system. It's evolving. There's a lot of projects that we want to do. Most of them have to do with electronic filing and reporting to AOPC. Another project is, and I mentioned this in a previous council meeting, we want to be able to send our appellate cases and files electronically to the appellate courts. We're working with AOPC and the Superior Court and Commonwealth Court to be able to transfer those files electronically. They actually, I received a call from Justice Stevens and asked that we look into this and get this done. And I said we would, because sometimes, especially with the medical malpractice cases, there are volumes of paper and we have to send them in the mail. And sometimes they don't reach it, the appellate court. Sometimes they reach it with tears in the boxes and papers missing. So this is one of the projects that we want to advance with IQS.
That will cut down on the postage fees as well. It'll cut down on some of the work that the staff has to do, because when there's human error involved, if they have to keep track of all the documents, now we can have someone assigned to do it electronically, and the court can get it immediately.
This all sounds absolutely wonderful. AOPC, so it was birthed out of AOPC, though. They suggested to us, to the county.
Yeah,
level, basically.
we weren't allowed, like,
trying to
we
get my arms
weren't
around it.
allowed to do that before, like there,
Okay.
so it's only in the last few years, I think, that they're now, they've had the capability themselves, and I think the judges want to get the files electronically now.
So it'd be nice if they could help us support some of this. That's always a
Well,
nice
this
ask.
is the civil
you know.
side, so this is up to us. The
Uh-huh.
criminal side is their system, but the civil side is our responsibility.
Okay. I'm seeing there, so, and it's 58,000, seems like money well spent. However, I'm looking at page 1 of this as well. Now, there's some other contingencies here. I'm looking at number 2, it's on the second page, everybody, of the pack. Number 2, it says 2C, for development of a court calendaring interface, the county shall pay IQS at the rate of $175 an hour, not to exceed 80 hours. What is that in reality? That's $14,000. It's about 25% of the overall contract. Do you foresee that really happening?
I
do you
think
think?
when we spoke with IQS about this. I mean, they said that they would estimate on the high end, but my recollection is, Mr. Skeen, correct me if I'm wrong, is that they did not foresee it would be that many hours to do it, but that's,
I mean, that's kind of ambiguous. And I just wondered, could we negotiate that down at all with
No.
IQS?
No.
None of this is up for negotiation?
No,
So
when,
if they keep, we're change orders in this kind of outfit, it's like, okay.
well, they're not really change
Yeah.
orders.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
They're not
using the
really
term.
change
I
orders.
get it.
They're part of upgrades that we're trying to institute with the courts and with the Prothonotary's office. So they're not change orders. They're estimating the time it will take to develop this calendaring system for our courts. And I believe in a previous meeting, I said our goal is to match the software and the system that is used by the federal courts, which is far more efficient, not only for the lawyers who use it, but also for the Prothonotary's office and for the judges themselves. We can, when someone can file electronically and have automatic service of those documents, that saves the Prothonotary, because under the rules of civil procedure, the Prothonotary has to send those documents out. So it will save time and it will save money.
I love that. I know that's been a long-term goal for us to do
Mhm.
everything electronically. I know we still have some pockets where that's not happening. So that I'm solely celebrate that. There's any kind of like a service fee that the county could recoup, or does that go directly to IQS? Again, I'm
Attorney
just trying
Skeen.
to. anything like that.
but I'm not sure,
Yes.
do you mean like on the filing fees? Because we get filing fees. Well, the Prothonotary's office gets the filing fees.
We get that regardless. We get that in paper filing fees, but
Well, no, you get it, when you file something electronically, you have to pay as well.
sure. I
So
mean,
that doesn't cut down on any of that.
but is it the same rate? Is it the same filing amount? The same
Yeah.
fee?
Mhm.
Okay.
And IQS
'Cause I
has
know
worked on, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Exactly. That's what I was going at.
And IQS has worked with us to try to get what County Manager Procomo was saying about trying to get us toward that federal system, because there isn't a system out there that we could just say, hey, we want that one. It has to be developed.
Right.
And
Like-
an important point is we are the only county in the state, in the Commonwealth, that use this system. They work in other states. So there was an issue last year where we could have lost them. If we lose them, instead of us moving forward where we're on the cusp of making it, like the Wilda said, like the federal system, if we lose them, then we have to start all over again, and it'll cost us a fortune to start the system all over again. So we don't want to stop working with this company.
Especially after the upgrades we've made to the system.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Any other questions by council members? All right, thank you, Attorney Raddick. All right, next up, discussion regarding resolution to renew the lease with Kingston Township for Magisterial District Court 110309.
That's another magistrate's lease. I don't know.
I don't think Mr. Hindmarsh is on any longer.
Is he on?
I don't see him.
Well, it's the magistrate's lease for Kingston Township.
Okay, any questions? All right, we'll move on now to the budget work session. As long as, is everybody okay to move on to the budget work session okay. All right, first up, we have Division 16, which is the solicitor, Attorney Skeen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of council, County Manager Ramilda, and our fine public audience. So in my budget, there's a slight, did it stop working? Hello? Okay, just odd being my face like that. So we have one additional employee. We made a change in our staffing late last year. That'll show up on this year's budget to add a paralegal position. That paralegal position has been very helpful. So before we had Mackenzie doing kind of both jobs, and it was hard for her to do two positions. When we lost her to her new position and life changes, we ended up hiring two people, which has been very helpful in the department. Some of our other increases are just projections for what we're going to have to pay in special legal expenses, general. I don't really have a glorious budget. I pay attorneys. So we have contracts with all the different insurance companies that provide us liability protection. And those contracts require that we pay our various deductibles to the attorneys that are outside counsel. And we end up settling some cases. So when we settle cases, if it's still under our deduction, our deductions are from 50,000 up to 250,000. Most of our settlements are in the $250,000 deductible. So sometimes we settle those within our deductible. My team has been working hard in reducing those expenses. So we have comprehensive meetings with all of our insurance carriers, the adjusters that are working on cases, and the attorneys that are handling them, so that we could try to keep costs down and move cases more efficiently. So if you have any questions on the budget and the items there, you can let me know.
Mr. Haas.
I have one, Mr. Chair. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for coming out.
I was going to be here.
Being on that side of the table, thanks for coming on that side of the table. My sticking point every year we go over the budget, it's always the special legal line item. It's always tough. It's kind of like telling the weather, what's going to come to pass. I don't think it's appropriate to give strategy away here in a public setting. Perhaps, could we have an executive session, maybe next meeting, Mr. Chair, for a short while? If you can itemize some of the things coming down the pike, I think that might be helpful for the council.
Well,
how you arrived at that number, or if you want to put out there in public, but I know there's
Right, well, it's just
quite a bit you don't want to do that.
It's the cost. So it's
Right.
So every year we talk about lowering my budget, and I come back with a budget amendment because the budget's too low, and I have to pay the bills. So if we don't pay for the attorneys that are doing the insurance work, then the insurance company drops us. So it's bills that I have to pay. Now, part of my office is also conflict counsel, and there is a good chance that we are going to have capital cases coming up. And for each of the capital cases, I think we'll have 3 defendants. It will be over $100,000 per case. Because we have to have that case certified people. So if those come to pass, then it's going to be an additional $300,000. So we tried to be somewhat conservative with it, but
On top of this, ask an additional 300, or this is
no, that's
part of
it's
the component here.
part of
Okay.
it. And
Go ahead.
then we have cases that settle. So when they settle, we have to have money to be able to pay. So special legal is mostly our attorney's fees. And then we also pay the guardian ad litem. So in our conflict counsel, we pay parents counsel and dependency cases. And out of my office, we pay guardian ad litem. All cases that are in dependency have to have a guardian ad litem. And the county has decided to provide parents counsel in the form of conflict counsel for all parents.
And then, of course, that makes a lot of sense. I understand that, but maybe if you want to elaborate a little more, maybe like I said, in executive session, Mr. Chair, if that would be all right. Because I'm looking at last year's actuals. It was double over the adopted budget, and that's just the nature of this line item. It is, like I said, it's like the weather. This year, we still have about 5 weeks left to go, but we're slightly under. And I'm sure we're going to go over that. I'm sure of it, but nonetheless, my
He will get,
normal concern,
he will get bills
Oh, yeah.
for the end of the year.
without a doubt.
There's
Probably
no
until
doubt.
Next year, we'll get more
Because
bills, right?
that's when law firms calculate the bonuses for their lawyers and their billable hours. So he'll get a nice stack of bills.
No surprise. Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Attorney Skeen? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next up, Public Defender Division. Attorney Yeager.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Attorney Joseph Yeager, Chief Public Defender for Luzerne County. We presented our budget. I think it's noteworthy that there are at least 5 items regarding uniform allowance, office supplies, steno services, expert witnesses, and meetings and conferences and training that we have reflected a decrease or a negative number from our last budget. For those of you that are not very familiar with the Public Defender's Office, I think it's important to let you know that this year, approximately 5,243 new adult cases were opened. Out of that, 2,272 were cases that were assigned by the courts. We have 117 new juvenile cases to date, 466 adult social worker referrals, 30 juvenile social worker referrals, 169 adult investigations, 25 juvenile investigations. We're currently working 6 active homicide cases. We have 2 assistant public defenders that were hired, along with 6 support staff. And this is the first time in 6 years that our support staff is now fully staffed at the Public Defender's Office. I'm proud to say that one of our assistant public defender, John Donovan, who has been an assistant for 30 years, received the President's Award at the annual Bench Bar Conference. So there is a lot of work. There are a lot of cases. I'm very proud of my staff, and I'm very grateful to my staff for the hard work and the hours that they put in. I think that our budget request is fair and reasonable in consideration of the work we do and the staff we have. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Attorney Yeager? All right, thank you. Oh,
thank you.
Ms. Smith?
Sorry. I usually don't have a problem like this. Do you know about what percentage of applications you accept versus how many you get? I'm just curious.
I'd say we accept probably 95%. There's very few. It's probably higher because this year I only recall rejecting 3 applications because we have our income levels and we're allowed to go beyond the federal. And a lot of times if the court appoints us, we don't have an income level, but we do bring those individuals into the office. We take a financial picture of them, and then we make a determination if they qualify or don't qualify for our services.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney Yeager.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have corrections. Mr. Wilbur.
Good evening, council. I'm here to present the 2026 Correctional Services Budget. And as all of us in this room are aware, the budget represents a large portion of the general fund budget for the county. I think it's important to bring a few key points as we proceed. First of all, I want to introduce, I've got Karen Krizik. She's my budget and financial analyst who maintains all of the financial information and does much more than that. Deputy Warden Bronsberg, who's here with me this evening. The personnel costs for the division make up approximately 78% of this budget that sits in front of you. And there's a reason for that. The correctional division is a 24/7, 365-day operation that never sleeps, as we are entrusted with the safety and security of the community, our staff, and the care, custody, and control of the inmate population, which on average is 550 inmates daily. How that looks in real time is that to properly staff both the main facility and the minimal offender unit requires approximately 375 hours annually of coverage. This does not include the other duties that are required by the correctional staff, like inmate transports, hospital duties, and medical appointments. This division is staffed by approximately 300 correction professionals that work tirelessly to make sure that the mission is accomplished daily. As a result of their effort, the division has once again achieved a full compliance result from the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections Office of County Inspections and Services, meeting all standards in accordance with PA Code Title 37, Chapter 95 inspection again this year, meaning our next inspection will not be until 2027. Looking at the remaining budget, the overall cost factors is basically 15% of that budget is inmate medical and mental health care. Inmates today have a great deal of medical issues that often are ignored while they're in the community. But once incarcerated, we have an obligation to address due to the constitutional requirements to provide medical services to all inmates. When the level of care needed cannot be accomplished by the medical staff due to the limitations of the medical unit in the facility, those inmates are required to be sent out for outside care. Just to give an example, I had the medical department give me the numbers for 2025 up until last week, which were over 700 offsite medical visits, over 125 emergency room visits, over 900 days of inmate hospitalization. So not only do we have to staff the facility for those hours that I just mentioned to make sure we operate minimally, efficiently, and safely, those hours also then are multiplied by the outside challenges that we face. That becomes, again, a major driving factor in overtime expenses. Now, with the remaining 7% of the budget, which is approximately about 2.3 million, the division maintains the infrastructure of the division, provides food, clothing, supplies, and bedding for the inmate population, and ensures that our correctional staff are trained and equipped to accomplish the many duties that are required of them. And as Attorney Yeager said, I will echo, I am very proud of our staff. I'm very proud of the work that they do. They work tirelessly and they work in ways that most of the time we don't get a chance to talk about. And I know that's not a budget number, but I felt like it was important because it's my one opportunity that I have to come and highlight this division to you. And this division is much more than a few negative remarks that I see in the media. Division is much more. For every negative remark you see, you have at least 10 things that have happened behind the scenes where our officers have put their life on line, where they've saved lives, where they've done things necessary because they understand the duty of care, custody, and control. So I just wanted to bring that up first and foremost. Now, when we look at the division sheet, I don't know if there's any questions anybody has immediately. The personnel really hasn't changed too much in regard to the vacancies. There are vacancies, but the actual positions that we have haven't changed that much. We did make some changes in between the different departments, the Department of the Minimal Offender Unit and also the main facility. The luxury or the issue, of course, that I have when we do these one sheets is that 10% or 10,000, pretty much any category is going to fall into that when you're dealing with a 32 million plus budget. So, you know, again, knowing that we're here tonight, we have limited time, but I'm open to any questions and any comments that we might have at this point.
Ms. McDermott?
Thank you very much for your presentation. I have a question about the overtime, wages overtime. So in the MOU, Department 4234, line item 51035, wages overtime. The budgeted amount for 2025 was 235,000.
Mm-hmm.
You're requesting 286,000. And the actual used was 208,270. So I understand that's probably up till today. Do you expect to go over that 235,000 by the end of the year?
In regards to this budget for 2025,
Yeah, well, yes, for the budget of 2025, it is budgeted for 235,000, but the actual use is 208,270. And this is just for the MOU.
right? So, well, so looking at the trends, I don't think if we go over, it won't be by a lot. But the trend again, because we're dealing with our vacancies, overall, our vacancies in the correctional officer department are currently at about 14 vacancies. So there's some overtime. Fortunately, with the minimal offender unit, it's a smaller force there, and I don't really anticipate trending. I don't know if Karen has any other input there, but I don't see that one as being an issue. Obviously, 4235 is always a factor with all of the things that I just mentioned. So.
Okay, sticking with the MOU, repairs and maintenance, so that's line item 550.47. Again, for the MOU, the actual use right now is 22,828. And the requested amount is 24,960. So it's not a big difference, but I see that we could save some money there. Repairs and maintenance, is there anything that you have planned that you're going to need a little bit of an increase in the budget for?
So when we were looking at the increases, when I was looking at that, I was looking at basic costs across the board, just knowing with the, the cost of production, the different products, supplies. So that's why we're looking at that 4%. When I looked and averaged everything out, it was about 4.5%. The issue that we have with maintenance in both facilities is there's a lot of unknowns we don't know. Our maintenance department does a great job of trying to project and put projects ahead of us, but then there's these things that happen that we're not aware of, and we want to be able to allow to make those changes or make those fixes and repairs. So it's hard to say because when the end of the year usually rolls around, we're pretty close. That's why that ask was there.
Okay. Yeah, because in 2024 it was only 20,853. So I think that I'd like to propose a change in that, and I'll put these all down and submit them after. Okay, and then moving on to 4235, Luzerne County Correctional Facility. Line item 540.52, kitchen and groceries. So the budgeted amount for 2025 was $1,050,000. So far, you've actually used $1,023,328. So the requested amount is $1,100,000. I think that's probably a lot more, and I'm just wondering why you would request that's like $50,000 more than what.
So when I looked at that number, the way I got to that number was looking at the average weekly costs we have right now, anywhere between $19,000 and $21,000 a week. That's where I got to that number, because also per contract there's a cost adjustment in the new year, and it certainly won't be the 5% that it was a few years on the tails of COVID, but there'll be a CPI adjustment per contract. And
well, that's the food contract that we have.
yes,
That's not over until when? What year?
we have one more year on that contract.
So that's not going to change for 2026.
No, there's a CPI adjustment
By how-
every year in
by
the.
how much?
There's an adjustment. It depends on, they will let us know. I know it's usually around whatever the CPI is. I just don't know what that number is right now in front of me,
Okay.
because I haven't received that yet.
All righty. Well, maybe we could double check that.
Sure, absolutely. As soon as I get that information, I can.
Okay, and then the repairs and maintenance, also the line item 550.47, again, for the Department 4235. The budgeted amount was 300,000, you requested 312,000. So far, the actual amount was 254,000 used. So I believe that we could do some savings there. Maybe like 22,000.
My actual showing 282.
Or that changed.
50, yes.
That changed
Yeah,
from-
everything. So yes. So
Yeah.
I know that.
the end
I
of
know that. I'm
September.
looking at these.
No, I understand. That's what I'm saying, but I'm looking at, I'm just looking at today's, what I was supplied to today. That's what we're looking at for 2025.
Okay, and one last thing, and you did mention it before about the overtime wages. Department 4235, like it's deficient, severely deficient. So how do you make that up? And I know that that's every year that we're doing that, but when your overtime is going so much over what you are budgeting, where do
Well,
you get that from?
Not in a good way, but what we used to use a lot is vacancies. But as you can see, we have a lot of frozen positions now because the last few years we've tried to, stay within those budget guidelines. So we do have some areas now that we can potentially make those up this year. But again, it comes back through those budget, the vacancy,
Yeah.
the position cost.
Because I mean, that would be deficient, like $295,000 deficient
Correct.
in overtime. So that's, if you're already cutting out the vacancies, I just don't know where you're making that up.
Right, but when you put all the personnel costs based on the vacancies, we are able to usually factor that in. It's not a great way. It's just kind of the way that it has worked and how it's happened because that's why I tried to ask for a little bit more in overtime because we had a certain number. We went down to a number last year, 1.2 million, and by June we were at 1.2 million. Now we're trending this year, 25, less than we were in 24. Now, again, the other factors that come into play, not only the operating hours for the facility, but the outside duties. We did make some policy changes, so that's helped to lower that a little bit and not, compromise safety. But that is a number that's very difficult to try and nail down to a very precise number.
Right, thank you. That's all that I have.
And just to clarify, every time that you hire a full-time position, that number in overtime should theoretically go down.
Theoretically, yes. Yes, absolutely. And that's where the argument or discussion always comes from. Do you hire more, but then you're paying salaries, benefits, and then sometimes then are you getting the work that you need, or you've got seasoned officers? So those benefit, the weighing, the pro and the con of, first of all, we have to have enough people to hire. Second of all, by the time you pay, let's say 6 or 7 more positions, if we unfroze those positions and put people in those places, you're spending about the same amount of money, but not even knowing if the employee's going to, because we're looking at 14 vacancies right now as we're looking at a new class in January. Good thing is we have a lot of applicants. So we're going to be able to hopefully put a class together and we'll be able to help staff that. But that is a challenge.
Well, I just fiscally, I think if the personnel are there, if it's in the budget and they're, the line item for that job is in the budget, it's just much better and easier than having the overtime.
Absolutely. And we would hire them as soon as, like, we don't want vacancies, but there's a lot of turnover because, we have senior officers that retire and then you have younger, or, when I say younger, they haven't been there that long. They either go to the state potentially, or it's just not for them. So.
Right. Any other questions, council members? Mr. Haas?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair, and appreciate Leanne's comments, because I mean, overtime's always the killer in this budget. I've
Sure.
seen it for years. So I heard a lot of what you're doing to help mitigate that. But do you really think, Mr. Wilbur, that you're, and I'm looking at the corrections facility itself, 510.35, 1.56 for the overtime. And I'm looking at the actuals in 2024 was 3 million. And it looks like we're kind of on target for that. I know you said 2020, you expect to come in under that, but as of the third quarter, it was already at 1.9 million. So, I mean, do you think that's really realistic at 1.5 for overtime?
No, I don't.
I think we have to spend more money for you on that one.
Yes.
Just to be realistic.
But I'm trying to, work within.
I know you are.
Yeah, I'm trying to work within the limitations, looking at the deficit hours that we have based on vacancies. But, again, trying to be responsible. You know, our division strives to be responsible. We have a large budget. But we strive to be responsible physically. But no, you're right. To your point, Mr. Hawes, it's a number, but I don't know that it's the concrete number.
Yeah, and I know the guys they have the toughest job in the county. I think Mr. Liscavige said that before. We've all been through the prison. It's a tough place to be. So we all appreciate them. And we just hope they keep on working in good faith, and thanks for doing your part, and appreciate them doing their part. I think, Mr. Chair, I'll probably submit a motion to you, increase that to 2 million for the overtime. Do you think 2 million would cover for that overtime for the
Again, Mr.
correctional
Hawes,
facility?
It's hard to say, because really the pressure is not the deficit hours in the facility as much as it is the outside, which is unpredictable. With the outside, the acuity of the inmate medically is something like I've never experienced at this point. And so we're finding ourselves, for example, not to belabor the point, but we had at one time 3 inmates that were on dialysis that required 3 trips a week. So that's how many officers out for however many hours dialysis takes, times 3 just for 1 week. And they were here for an extended period of time. So it's a more realistic number, but I couldn't say that unequivocally that would be it. I don't know, but I watch it every 2 weeks. I'm looking, and I know we got about 3.85% in the budget I need to be at for 26 pay periods. So the budget never leaves me all year long. So
It's one of my top 3 non-favorite ones to deal with, like special legal. You just saw on the other ones. Never fun, but thank you for what you do.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Wolper.
thank you.
Finally, Human Services. Ms. Stone.
Good evening, council. So the Human Services Division provides essential programs that support the safety, stability, well-being of county residents across aging, children, youth, and families, mental health, drug and alcohol, Veterans Affairs, and the Office of Human Services. Each year, the demand for the services continues to increase while funding sources remain constrained, requiring prioritization to maintain service delivery and meet state and federal mandates. The 2026 proposed human services budget is funded through a combination of state allocations, federal funding, block grant dollars, county match, and special grant awards. The Human Services Block Grant, which supports mental health, homeless assistance, drug and alcohol, and human services and supports, remains a core financial resource enabling flexibility across critical programs. If you look through the budget, I think you'll see that our human services budget ensures critical mandated programs remain fully operational while making strategic investments to strengthen the service system, protect vulnerable residents, and support a more stable, resilient human services network. This budget reflects a commitment to fiscal responsibility, service quality, and the long-term well-being of the community. If you look at the one sheet, our positions really didn't change much. Again, our proposed revenue and proposed expenses even for each department: aging, children, youth, drug and alcohol, Office of Human Services, and mental health. Veterans Affairs is our only fully general fund department. And the only 10% change was for dues and memberships, and that was due to an increase in VetCon costs. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions, council members? All righty.
Love that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stone. All right. Okay, council members. All right. I believe that is it. We have public comment. I have a couple of slips up here. Mr. Walsh.
Jamie Walsh, Ross Township. First, I want to tell you all to have a happy Thanksgiving. And every minute you're here tonight, you're 1 minute closer to Thanksgiving dinner. That's the way I've been thinking about it. So couple of things that I would like to just talk about regarding the PPL right away. You know, we've had some challenges with PPL, as you all know, in the Sugarloaf area, where they have not been very forthcoming and transparent. And I feel like anything that we do moving forward with PPL in the county needs to be put under a microscope. We need all of the details of everything that they plan on doing to this line that they're looking to, this easement that they, or right away that they want to expand. You know, there's a lot of questions, and some of them this young man answered tonight. It's an existing line already. He answered how wide it was. You know, we got 50, 30, and 80 feet. It would be nice to know like where all of those widths are coming from exactly. We're just in different times right now. Normally, this would probably be a very simple resolution that council is considering. But right now, my constituents in Dorrance Township are scared. You know, they're going into this holiday season fearful of what's coming down the pike, especially now with this new proposed easement or right of way. So I just want to make sure that we fully understand that or what the potential is that they're looking to do with this line, because it's happening all around us. We do not want the southern part of the 117th, or really any of the 117th, to turn into Data Center Alley. I pleaded with you a couple of months ago about that, and here we are again. And I just feel like there's a lot more going on here than just a widening of a right of way. That's my gut feeling. I have no information to support that, but that is my gut feeling. Is this going to run 230 or 500 kV? And I'm not asking that young man. I'm just, some of the questions that I have. Is this going to be a 230 kV line? Is it going to be 500? Is it going to be more than that? Is Luzerne County going to give it to them for free? Or are we going to charge PPL for that? We just need all of the details for if it's going from Dorrance to Slocum, the 10,800 feet. Where exactly is the width coming from? Are they going to be putting more switch
All right,
yards
thank you,
in?
Mr. Walsh.
And a lot of concerns like that. I think it just comes down to details. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walsh. Mr. Eustace?
Evening. I just have to reiterate what Jamie's saying is that anything that we enter into with PP&L, the county has to be spot on. You have to watch everything they tell us. You have to know all the details, because we don't need, like Jamie's saying, we don't need to turn into Data Center Alley. It's crazy. I mean, we're fighting endurance for a person who's going to take 200 pristine acres, and I mean pristine acres, wooded acres, where there's wetlands, and it's just to take and turn that into 918,000 square feet of a data center in the middle of a little rural area is ridiculous. So again, I encourage you to put the citizens of the county first. Don't listen to PP&L entirely unless you have all the facts, because in the past we've been lied to, and we don't need that again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eustace. Mr. Zola?
John, excuse me, John Zola, Sugarloaf. This is concerning agenda item number 2, the PPL easement. So based on the information provided here tonight and based on the research that I did online, I still have a very, very unclear picture of what's happening. You know, my main concern, I don't live there, but I'm sure people do. And I don't know if you have a power line in the middle and houses here and houses here, or how it's situated. I'm sure there's some houses around. So before you would extend an easement, another 40 feet or whatever it is that they're looking for, perhaps the county owns the trees that right up to the people's property. So now once those trees are gone, now those people have no buffer. So it's their house and the pole line. Where right now they might have 40 feet of buffer that's owned by the county. So that's one thing I would ask you to kind of look at, just to protect the people who live in that area. And keep something in mind too. PPL is, and when you read the contract, read it very carefully with this easement. They're allowed to cut beyond their right of way. So if they feel any tree is endangering their line, or if it is impeding their process whatsoever, they'll cut those trees down, even outside their easement. So this could affect homeowners in that area. So please use caution there. They're converting this line to three-phase. I've been in real estate and construction for 40 years. I've never seen three-phase power ran to any residential dwelling. And maybe Leanne could attest to that, I don't know. But so that concerns me a little bit. That's kind of telling me that they're laying the pipe for something more commercial or industrial in that area. And then lastly, again, please read their easement agreement very carefully, because there's language in there that always is kind of one-sided, and it's not for the benefit of the county or for the people, it's for the benefit of PPL. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zola. Mr. Mashevsky.
There's one thing I'd like to say towards PPL. One of the major benefits of three-phase is for industrial applications, sure, but it helps protect sensitive equipment like MRI machines. It helps increase the longevity of your hot tub, increase the performance of heating and air conditioning units, and things such as that. Although I would caution the entire nation away from using synthetically treated wooden poles, which release toxic chemicals into the ground and the surrounding environment. This is one of the reasons I am working towards revoking access to the electrical grid having a pole on my lot, because I don't want to be poisoned by the long-term exposure of chemical additives which help protect the wood of their power lines. Maybe a simple solution is to cover all poles treated with plastic to contain the chemicals and keep them from running off. With that said, I'd like to continue with what I said earlier briefly. The Luzerne County Correctional Facility does not have a fundamental means to be able to properly address nutrition. Carb loading is a major problem that Trinity is currently proliferating, and there isn't an easy way for us to be able to manage this because they are a Florida-based company, which means they should be regulated under interstate commerce. How is it that a corporation from a state, an entire different section of our nation, is able to respect our laws and our ways of life? They don't come from Pennsylvania. The corporations that we contract with should be fully aware and versed within our laws. They should be sourced in Pennsylvania and properly certified by our organizations and government authorities. Finally, I'd like to call attention to the document I provided through the deputies to the clerk regarding herbicides and pesticides in the food supply. That comes from the National Library, the PubMed and all that. We only test for approximately 800 herbicides and pesticides within the food supply. And yet there are over 15,000 herbicides and pesticides available on the market. If you look at the ion exchange within elements and how the body utilizes it and the limitations of our genome to be able to be aware of, address, and remove these harmful carcinogens, we don't have the ability to be able to properly address this and handle this. So I would urge council to create an investigative commission to be able to look into just how severely underprepared we are to be able to handle herbicides and pesticides within our food supply. With that said, I would like to just finally say, when the law was repealed regarding inmate capacity, an entire new building should have been commissioned because the warden and the entire county cannot handle with their facility. So please, in the future, try to look into this, and when new laws get made
All right, thank you,
and
Mr.
old laws
Mashevsky.
repealed,
Thank you.
yes, next time.
Thank you. Mr. Griffith? Okay. Anybody else in the audience, public comment? Good. Go ahead, sir. Yeah, you can speak as a member of the public for 3 minutes if you'd like. Just state your name and your municipality that you live in, I suppose.
My name is Liam Gashado. I'm a resident of the city of Williamsport in Lycoming County. But I just wanted to recognize you guys and your concerns really quick. And I can't, as one person representative PPO, can't undo the negative things and the wrongdoings that the company may have done. But I just want to recognize your character and just say that I really respect that you take the time to come here to not look out for your neighbors, look out for yourselves. And for your constituents. I think that's really great. And if you'd like, I'd love to speak with any of you after this meeting. I have a few resources I can give you. I'm happy to give you my card with my personal cell and field any questions you guys may have. I don't, as you can tell earlier, I don't have a lot of the answers. Truth be told, I only became a right-of-way agent this year. But if I don't know something, I'd happily figure it out. So I appreciate your concerns and your questions, and be happy to engage as much as you'd like one-on-one, and make sure that you guys feel safe and secure with this. I don't want anything to be signed if you feel like yourselves, your constituents, or anybody would be negatively affected by the proposed project. So thank you very much, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience? Public comment? Okay. All right, we have one person on the Zoom, Ashley Bart. Ms. Bart?
Good evening. I want to thank those of you who, Ashley Bart, Hazelton. And my comment is about the PPL item. So I want to thank those of you who asked some important preliminary questions on these projects. I think we are all a little sensitive to it right now, and rightfully so. I would encourage you to continue asking as many questions as you can on it. I personally question the claim that it's for the line improvement would be for storm hardiness to triple the size of it in a residential area like that. When it's been stated multiple times that this kind of line would be most likely for some kind of industrial or commercial end user, it doesn't seem necessary to be in such a rural residential area. And I'm sure there can be storm hardiness completed that is more equivalent to the current line rather than tripling the size of it and increasing the right of way for the reasons that were already stated. I would also highly caution you on the request or the question about selling the land to PPL. That would just open up a whole nother area of potential issues in terms of rezoning, what they might want to do in the future with putting up different kind of electrical facilities there in between residential areas. And I would say that should absolutely not be a consideration at this point. Another thing that possibly you can consider is, or that I would request the council do, is wait. I believe he said there were 52 or so landowners that they would all need to sign off on this. So the county doesn't necessarily need to be the first or even the 40th landowner to sign off. So I think there's probably no rush. If you can wait and gather as much information as you can, see what the other area residents are doing, and then proceed from there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Bart. Anybody else public comment? As we adjourn, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn in memory of our longtime former employee, Deputy Sheriff Don Kraszewski, who passed away unexpectedly several days ago. Is there a motion?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a happy Thanksgiving.